Welcome to the Saturday night edition. A little bit different than our normal. Goddamn Taylor Swift. You'll find out about that in a minute if you don't know. Didn't see any waffles being made tonight, so we had to fill in the void, you know what I mean? Busy in the cornfield. Welcome to a Saturday night edition of Red Pill Rhino Live. If you're wondering what happened, first of all, Jimmy is lost in the cornfield. No word from him, so he is out with the Cougars tonight. You know, following up on his training courses. We are here thanks to Taylor Swift. That's how we got here tonight because she kept me in traffic for 2 hours trying to get home. So I had to cancel the stream and reschedule because it was way too late of a start by the time I got here, and I still had to do all the setup. But worry not, we've got a great show for you, and we had an extra long pre-roll, but
wait, there's more!
I've got something else for you that you might recognize from another show that all of you might watch. Let's welcome the panel in really quick, and then we'll get into some information, some videos, some news, some good stuff tonight. Let's get everybody in here. We're just going to do a flat-out add everybody at once thing here. Here we go. We have a full house tonight, by the way. Okay. Everybody is here now. How is everyone doing?
All right.
Pretty good.
Rhino, for that entry music, I should have one of the wooden fists to give you.
Talking about wooden fists on a stream. It wouldn't be a stream without the old wooden fist, and we have it brand new now. It's all up to par. We've got our old wooden fist in the house as well. It's broken, about to find its way into the trash, but we've modified the new wooden fist to match, so we're good to go now. All right. Well, some interesting news this week, but before we get into that, I want to roll a couple things that I saw today that I thought were quite amusing. So let's share it with you guys. If I can get it to pop up. As usual, always a struggle. God damn it.
Rhino having a hard time getting it up.
As usual.
Always
Probably
getting
goes
close to
the
that age.
fingers.
I am
Okay,
having
habits
trouble
to get
finding
over
it now.
That's what she said.
Wait. Aha.
Damn.
That's bad. That's bad. All right, here we go. There it is. Took me long enough. Let's
said.
play this one. God damn it, Nate.
Phrasing, man, phrasing.
Oh, we've got no sound.
Man who
Me.
disagrees with you is a narcissist. Did you also know that leveraging your gender doesn't equal the victory or the outcome of your...
I'm going to reload that. I don't know why it muted.
Isn't it like by default?
Ladies, did you know that not every man who disagrees with you is a narcissist? Did you also know that leveraging your gender doesn't equal the victory or the outcome of your debate or argument? Listen, you're perfectly allowed to be triggered, emotionally annoyed, or sparked off by the words that somebody else says and then how you interpret it in your brain. It's actually a good thing. It's human. It's what we do. But it's how you control your emotions and your responses that determine how the argument, the debate, or the conversation with your significant other or anybody else on a rational human being level, that's how it goes. It's all up to you. You're the common denominator. So as a man, my biggest suggestion is understanding that we're going to have a big difficulty in the gap between understanding what you're trying to convey to us, but we do want to listen. We do want to pay attention because as men, we do want to try to fix the problems and be there for you. But if you ladies are simply going to just disrespect and insult men at the beginning of an argument, you better be prepared to live alone with cats for the rest of your life.
Solid. All right. That is the
Man's got a
first
point.
clip there. Yeah, absolutely.
There's one little thing there, one little error. You said when dealing with logic, that's the problem. It's emotions, not logic.
Yeah, that is true.
Minor details.
Yeah, just minor details.
A little bit.
And this
Yeah.
one here is from the late, great Kevin Samuels. Let's go ahead and roll this
Oh.
one. Let's see. Reload.
Oh, you ever meet one of these?
I've been celibate for 2 years.
Where'd that come from?
I'm want to know, is that the reason why?
What's the philosophy here? You're not a virgin. You got two people came out of you. What's going on?
No, you did not.
Oh no, you did not have the nerve to bring vagina out here and close it up at 37 years old with two kids out here. You need a man, a good guy. You think you're gonna be celibate for what? You married?
Yes.
You got your goddamn mind. I wish I would meet a 37-year-old with two kids. You think you're gonna shit? You're almost 40 years old with two kids. Talking about celibate? You need to be trying to get that shit away to secure a man.
All right, gentlemen, your thoughts on that one?
He ain't wrong.
Yeah,
what
he's not
women
wrong,
have.
but I there are like with a lot of red pill on the dating and relationship side. Personal life observations have not been what everybody else has seen, but of course there is always exceptions to the rule. Maybe just I've been lucky to see them.
All right. Any other thoughts from the panel before we get into the first article here?
Yeah, I got one.
Sure. Both of you guys.
Well,
Let's
it's
start with
just to
Tommy.
say, nice shirt there, Sean.
Pale lobster.
All right. And Mando, you had something?
With the Kevin Samuels thing, when he mentioned that she should be trying to give that or give her stuff away, I'm gonna push back ever so slightly. She doesn't need to be trying to give it away, but at the same time, she doesn't need to have standards that are so obscene that she's bypassing what could be considered a good dude because let's just be honest, she wants a rich dude so she can be lazy.
All right, I'm going to push back on your pushback. So, in their early 20s, name a fancy store, any fancy store. Pick one, anybody.
Prada.
Prada. Okay, so at 20 years old, you're like a Prada, right? So you've got high value. A lot of people want you, and it's a supply and demand. All right. Then you get into your mid 20s. We're working our way down to more like, it goes really fast. So let's just go straight down. You get more to Dillard's. Okay. All right. 25 to 28 is basically Dillard's. And then by the time you hit 30, everybody bought the Prada bag. Everybody bought everything from Dillard's, and they took it to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
And that is now where women over 30 reside that are single, especially if they have kids. They might even be Salvation Army if we're talking about having kids drug along with it.
Well,
but
let's
here's
just be
the
honest.
thing.
She's probably one of the stores for the blind.
Here's the thing.
Well,
Here's the thing. You can negotiate. Hang on 2 seconds. You can negotiate your value when you were young, fertile, fit, friendly, and all of that good stuff. But after you've popped out a couple kids from a couple different baby daddies, and you're going to play this whole, I ain't putting out now, Mo. Well, then good luck, because men aren't going to do this whole, I'm going to take you out on a date and we're going to be celibate till marriage. You got 2 kids. That means some other loser got the chance, and I'm not going to. Fuck that. That's not going to work for most men.
No,
it won't.
I'm very much the same way, despite my whole wait till marriage deal. But at the same time, how do I want to say this where I don't sound like a complete ass?
Just say it, dude. Just say it.
If a chick comes up to me and goes, "You're cute. Can we go out for a while?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" And then I find out she's got kids. I'll be like, "Oh, so if we were to get married, would you do the same thing with me that you did with your with your baby's daddy?" "Well, no, because I'm a better person now." There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right. Rhino, I want to build a little bit on your retail experience, if I may.
Yes, sir.
You went from, I know Sean's already laughing because he knows what I'm going to say. You went from Prada like straight to Salvation Army. No. They hit their mid to their early 20s, yeah. Prada, the expensive stuff like that. Then, mid to late 20s, maybe like Nordstrom. Then it goes from there to the Gap. And we all know what happens in the Gap. Things get lost.
Yeah, don't entire career here and there.
Right, exactly. And then it goes to the Salvation Army and the store, the Society for the Blind and everything else. You kind of missed an important gap in there.
Fair enough. Now, I do want to interject. Ladies.
All right.
If you think we're just beating you up here, keep in mind if you found yourself a decent man and you've locked him in and you're doing the fit, feminine, friendly, faithful thing, you don't apply to anything we're talking about here. If you're doing the whole relationship marriage thing and, everything's good, then this doesn't apply to you. But it's the ladies that decided to fuck around in their 20s and now they're finding out in their 30s. That's who we're talking about tonight.
Well, I want to throw this out there because there is a double standard on their end and there's been a double standard on the men's end. There are a lot of guys that want the 6 to 10 women. They want the high end women. They want the beautiful, fit, feminine, friendly, woman that's going to be a traditional female, stick to the traditional gender roles. They want a woman that's loyal, but then they don't reciprocate the loyalty in return. Mm-hmm. That's something that comes down on the guys. You guys, you need to fix that. If you want a woman to be loyal, you be loyal yourself. Stand up, do the right thing.
I 100% agree with that. I think one of the problems, I'm not going to name drop anybody tonight, but there are channels out there. They get real loud and vocal when women say, well, you shouldn't cheat either. And the man's like, yeah, well, I can cheat because I'm the fucking dude. Okay, your mentality is creating the future thoughts of America. So what the fuck, dude? If you want to have a double standard, that's fine, I suppose, if you want to live that life. But when we're talking about women being faithful and all of that, and then these men go, well, if you're an alpha, you can just fuck whoever you want. You can share women if you have high enough value. Get the fuck out of here. This is some PUA shit. This is like the mastery level of PUA. Like, once I make over 6 figures, I can fuck 10 bitches and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, then you're going to end up single again. But I mean, if what you think is valuable, let me get through this one. If what you think is valuable as a man is to fuck as many women as possible, you have your priorities backwards right from the start. Let me just say that.
Well, I just want to throw something out there. There are a lot of people out there that's, look at it, it's either you're an alpha male or you're a beta male. You're one or the other. The one thing that most people tend to overlook and make the biggest mistake is not many people are aware of or understand the position of a Sigma male.
Mm-hmm.
The Sigma male is the unicorn. That is the one. He can be an alpha, but he chooses not to. He is able to do everything, but he decides to go and play by his own rules. Those are and if you look at it, if you look at social psychology, if you look at the way society operates, the men who do that and live that way and have that personality type, those are the guys that nobody sees, nobody hears of. Those are the gray men in society that go their own way, do their own thing. But I'll guarantee you, once women find out that a certain man has those traits, there's nowhere he can go. They literally can smell it on him, and they will do anything and everything to get that man's attention.
Yeah.
And everybody thinks it's the alpha male that has all the power and control and influence in the society, when it truly isn't.
Yeah, and I'll say this again. I think this community has been doing a lot of this. And by community, I mean the manosphere in general. And there's spectrums of it, some of them are on the spectrum. Me included. Here's the reality, ladies, the three of you, and gentlemen.
Both of you.
A lot of this has come down to it's like, what can I do to get the pussy? Like, that's not what this is about, guys. Look. Myself included. Look, I'm not going to say that I'm, some fucking thing that I'm not here. I just had a fucking health scare. And that was the thing. That should be the point of this community, is taking care of yourself, making sure you're the best version of you can be. This isn't about getting laid. This isn't about getting as many women as possible or finding the unicorn. They don't exist, by the way. There is no unicorn. Eventually, if that's the path you want to take, you got to just pick the flavor of crazy you like the best and go with that. But the thing is you should be focused on you. Okay. And that's especially with what I'm doing now in my life. I'm going to make that more of a priority on this channel. I kind of have to be the example to lead in this instance, because quite frankly, I let my health go a little bit, not like terrible. I'm not like on my deathbed, but enough to where I had to make some serious changes in decisions I was making, and even let's just bottom line it, food I was eating. I had to make some serious decisions, and quickly. Otherwise, it would have complicated my life substantially. Anyway, that being said, this is the point, or should be, of this community, to help other men out to become the best versions of themselves they can be, not to chase fucking pussy. By the way, ironically, if you work on yourself and focus on your career and your hobbies and your health and everything else, women come naturally. You don't need to work for it. So this whole notion that you've got to do everything these PUAs and these idiots in the manosphere say to get laid, those aren't the guys you want to follow. And I'm not saying who to follow. I'm just saying make your own assessments. If it sounds shady or shitty, it might not be the best advice, and that's where I'll leave it.
I do want to point something out, Rhino. Shinobi One put a fairly good comment in there very recently.
Mm-hmm. Let's take a look.
I'm going to add something onto that, Shinobi, if you don't mind. If she ignored you when you were coming up, she doesn't deserve you when you're at the finish line.
Right. It's a gamble. They need to be willing to gamble that you're going to be the strong, you're going to be a well-developed individual to partner up, and you need to gamble on them that they're going to be loyal and faithful to you while you return being loyal and faithful to her. She's front loading you all of her quote unquote marital assets, leveraging and hoping that you have the potential to complete your rank, so to speak, in your marital assets later in life. And it's a challenge, and it's a gamble, and it's a risk. But that's something you both have to have trust and faith and loyalty to each other to be able to do. And like women's, you see a lot of women and a lot of social media stuff putting out there. They talk bad about men and say there's all low quality men. Mm-hmm. How many times have you ever heard them call out the abysmal behavior of the low quality women out there?
Oh,
there's low quality men, that. There's high quality men. There's low quality women and high quality women.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it, call a spade a spade. Call it like it is. Don't be a hypocrite.
Yeah. Shadow Sonata here in the chat. I am checking the chat, but because we have a lot of articles to burn through here, I'm going to be scarce on it. If I see super chats on MGTOW Rumble, I will absolutely read those, but bear with me tonight. Shadow Sonata makes an interesting point here, though, especially in the aftermath of Me Too. The PUA lifestyle is like running drunk and blindfolded through a minefield that was hit with a dozen cluster munitions. Yeah, I would agree. Look, you can take your chances out in the dating market, but like I said, I would spend your time and make it your priority to work on yourself, not be chasing poon, man. It's better off that way. Just trust me on that. Any other thoughts from the panel before we move on? I'm going to roll an 8-minute video. We're going to do a brief break and come back and get in the meat and potatoes of tonight and why Box Wine and Catland has now commenced in full force.
Well, one quick little thing. Yeah, quick little thought here. Life is a terminal illness. You only have a finite number of breaths and heartbeats. Don't put your time, effort, and energy where it won't benefit you in the future. Don't go out and risk and lose and give away your time, effort, and energy for free, because you'll never be able to get that back, and that's the one thing most valuable to you in your life.
There you go. That is solid. All right, gentlemen, we have a video here actually from another channel called ADM Crazy Reviews. Not sure how this got to me, but we're going to go through it. This is going to be kind of a blind react here. Modern women was lied to and now no longer wants to be single. We're going to see what this is about. I'm sure it's going to be a good one. Hang on, stand by. There we go. Cool. Get into this one.
Huh?
So this video isn't going to have a punchline. Tell you that right off the bat, because I am basically just making it to stop crying. Because usually when I start trying to make a video, I stop crying, and I've been crying all day because I got sat on a plane next to a couple, and the whole time the guy had his hand on like his girlfriend's leg. You know, it's just kind of like that.
Poor baby.
The whole time.
Boo frickety who.
I like, I've been single my whole life. I'm 25, and I've never gotten to experience that. I've never gotten like close to that.
Hold the fuck on. I gotta ask, how insufferable do you have to be single your entire life? As a woman specifically, you can literally walk out in public and have guys just ready to date you. So how bad do you have to be? Not Crusader, Mando, what were you going to say there, sir?
Okay, what is it that Pop and a few of the other more level-headed red pill guys are always saying? Men control the access to marriage, women control the access to relationships.
Yes.
So the question I'm going to ask, and this is what I would ask her if I was able to respond to her directly. How many men have been willing to give you the time of day, and you have looked at them, looked down your nose, and basically done like a cat with a mouse? You're not good enough, and walked off.
Yep. Oh yeah. I can look at her body language. I can look at her eye movement. I can look at the way. Yeah, Mando, go ahead. You are off to a great point.
I think you know
you're
exactly where I'm going with this.
Oh yeah,
That woman,
I mean she's. Go ahead.
At 25, that woman has probably kicked to the curb at least, I'm going to say, a dozen men that had the potential for being what they consider to be high quality.
Right.
And more than likely, it's one of these things where they weren't tall enough, they didn't have the right color hair, they didn't have the right kind of job, or it could just be something as stupid as, oh, he chews X number of times before he swallows. There is something wrong with this guy. Yes, I have actually heard that from a woman, a female soldier that I tried asking out at a chow hall.
Yeah.
She said, you don't chew your food properly. I can't give you the time of day. So
that's them looking for a reason to end whatever just started. If they're being so petty like that, they never had the intent. It's probably they just they were entertaining you, and now they're done with it.
And the whole thing is with the one that you just showed. I watch Taylor the Fiend. I watch Detective Warg. I watch a few of the other TikTok React videos. Every one of those TikToks can pretty much be summed up with, I'm an over-entitled twat, and I don't want to change my standards just because I'm getting older. You need to change to service me. They are the Borg.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, I've had more than my fair share of encounters with, young, entitled, bratty women that I see her. There's a lot of little things that I see in her glasses, her eyes, her earrings, her hair, the way she chose the background for that video that she did. I'm noticing there's a lot of little things that was actually very well scripted and plotted and planned out on her behalf. I'm willing to bet she probably rehearsed that 5 or 6 different times to get that actual outcome. Because what she's doing is she's looking for sympathy. She's looking for that white knight. She's looking for the attention and validation from a guy that's going to look at that and feel sorry for her. She's looking for that sympathy. She's done that repeatedly. I can tell you that because I've dated women like that, and worse than that, and I've been around them. And I guess I'll go ahead and use a term that Dinosaur told me before. Chicks like that are the ones that are looking for the quote-unquote Giga Chad, the guys that have the jobs, have their own businesses, are always working, have all the time, effort, energy, resources, and everything else, and she wants the princess treatment and lifestyle.
Wait. I gotta add to that because I've met these women. Fortunately, I haven't dated them. But not only does she want everything Crusader just mentioned, but then she's going to complain that he's never home and doesn't spend enough time with her. That's going to be the next bullshit comes out of her mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I had $1 every time I met a girl and went on a date like that, I'd be a millionaire. I mean, those are the ones that you meet them on a first or second date. They find out your last name, and then you catch them writing their name with your last name. Those are the ones that get crazy and goofy like that.
Run. Crazy. If she starts, if in the first couple, I would say within the first year, if she is writing her or your last name at the end of her last name and trying to get the signature right, fucking run. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and something else I'm going to point out, and then I'm going to stay silent on this portion of it so other people can talk and we can move on.
Sure.
Women like this often They want the princess treatment, which means they want the knight on the in the shining armor to come in on the white horse to save them from whatever their problems are.
Mm.
Yep.
Well, lady, you've bypassed so many of those individuals that their armor has been sold for scrap metal, so they can pay for a house, and their horse has been taken to the glue factory. You ain't getting that no more.
What's always funny about this is the same women that you see dating, and I even feel like I'm offending Chad out there. If your name is Chad, I'm sorry. But you notice these women are dating Chad, and they're all thug life, and they can't wear a belt, and they fucking got tattoos all over their face, and they haven't had a job their entire life. And then these women complain that there's no good men. What the fuck is wrong with all of you? Are you fucking just... Is something missing? Something broken? What the fuck?
Single mothers.
Well, just like what Nate was saying and you about it takes time, energy to create the resources to be able to create your family.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's you and the woman or you have children, animals, etc. It takes somebody in that relationship's time and energy to develop all those resources to have the capital to pay for the luxuries you want.
Yeah.
So, and especially in a high inflation age like today, that's going to take an exceptional amount, because even if you had that standard 3 or 4 years ago, you're probably, both of you are working now just to maintain 2020 lifestyle, pre-2020 lifestyle. And you can't be upset when the times or just facts or reality set in that somebody's got to do it. It's not like money grows on trees. Even to get to the point where your money grows like passively so that you could like consider retirement. It takes a lot of effort to build up that capital, so that capital works for itself and then you reap the reward from it.
Mm-hmm.
Great point, Sean. Now, I just want to throw one more little thing out there, and then I think it's okay to move on.
Yeah, we'll roll back into the video after this.
Women like this, what they're looking for is, they're, like Mando said, they're looking for the knight in shining armor. However, they want that knight in shining armor to be the knight that has the spare armor that he goes and fights in for her. Mm-hmm. So she wants somebody who's battle tested, bruised, worn, knows how to fight, but she wants to know he's capable of doing that, but still puts on the facade of the shining armor, which is setting an unrealistic expectation or standard for that guy. Any guy who gets into that situation, no matter what he does, it'll never be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's get back into this really quick. Bear with us. And panel, feel free to speak your mind, by the way. If you have anything you want to add, let me know. But we're going to roll this a little bit. Well, we're going to roll this all the way through. But yeah, this woman in particular, Jesus.
It's just too much.
Oh, here comes the
Like,
fake
it's too
tears.
much. I can't do it anymore. There are some people out there who they're not interested in a relationship and they want to be by themselves. But like,
I want you to notice something really quick. I'm just going to break this down a little bit. We're going to keep moving on, though. You're going to notice jump cuts, meaning this is rehearsed. This has been redone over and over and over so she could get her lines right and make you feel just so terrible for her.
Like, that's not me, and that's never been me. I have always wanted to be in a relationship, even though I've never been in one.
This includes micro expressions, the way she's moving her eyes, the way she's moving her hands, all little sympathy gestures. This is all planned. This is all part of the play.
And even though I'm comfortable by myself and I can do things alone, but like at a certain point, it gets like really sad doing things alone. Like, I've traveled alone to so many places because, like, if I don't go by myself, I'm not going to go. If I don't do things by myself, it's not going to.
Okay, well, that's a bad philosophy to live by. If you can't be happy doing things yourself, that means that you're just taking advantage of others. You should always be your mental point of origin, man or woman, and for that matter. You shouldn't need other people around to enjoy your life. Take yourself out to dinner. Go see a movie alone. It shouldn't fucking matter.
happen. But at the same time, like, it's so much fun to be able to like share that with someone else.
Oh, she's
And,
gonna
like,
need all the cats.
everyone I know is in a relationship right now, and like the majority of them have been in relationships for like a long time. Like this is established, and I just like I feel like I've always been alone, and
Yes, and that's your fucking choice, you self-absorbed Kawanta.
I don't want to be, and I don't understand why this is happening to me.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And I don't know. I like can't take it anymore. And clearly this didn't work. for me
She's
so
sitting
far,
in the
and it
fucking
just wasted,
bathroom,
like,
by the way.
2 minutes of your
On the
time.
floor of the
I'm sorry.
bathroom. Or maybe on the shitter for all I
And
know.
I hope you're
At the
having
door
a
and the
better
towel.
weekend than I am. So,
Oh, this is
I've been
still going.
crying
Dear
all
God.
day because I got sat on a plane next to a couple.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
and
the point of
whole
this. It was
time
the plane.
guy had his hand on like his girlfriend's,
Oh, dear God.
leg, you know, and it was just kind of like that the whole time.
This is a sad reality, guys, for a lot of those modern women. This whole I don't need a man, I can do bad just by myself. It all sounds good until they have to come home to an empty apartment, a cold bed, and a few cats. This lady just showed us what it looks like on social media for a lot of those women. She was trying to gain some.
By the way, those of you that are still watching, please stand by till after our first break. We do have some awesome news here, some statistics that just came out that is proving Boxwine and Catland is officially taking off, and the former dick tasters are about to be really, really lonely here soon. So stay with us until after the first break to find out what that is all about.
Some validation. She was trying to gain some attention from a lot of people. That's all it's about. Guys, they're not happy, guys. Behind closed doors, guys, just to be able to sleep at night. Some have to cry themselves to sleep. Some have to take some pills. Some have to drink alcohol. Some possibly.
I have to read that one. Thumper the Sweaty Fat Guy. Cat toys and dishwasher safe boyfriends. Yeah, that is her future. Absolutely.
Just to be able to sleep at night, guys.
Battery operated boyfriends.
The girl power movement has done nothing but a disservice to a lot of those ladies. And if they don't wake up fast enough, it's not going to end very well for a lot of them. We're starting to see that right now.
And I like, I've been single my whole life. I'm 25.
Okay, her whole life started like 3 days ago, but still, the point remains she could have had a boyfriend at 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and still just sitting here fucking around. But I want to point something out before we get back into this. That does not mean she hasn't fucked and sucked her way through a lot of them along the way. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, I would actually like to ask
And
this
I've
question.
never gotten to experience that.
Hang on a second.
I've never gotten like.
What was that? Let me get you pulled up
Th-
here.
This, this is just a
Big Tom.
stupid question. And again, if I was standing in front of this woman when she was making this video, this is what I would be asking her. How many times have you come across a dude who he's a great guy for you to pour out your feelings to? He's a great guy for you to chat with or take resources from when you're having a bad day and need someone to take you out to a dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But you won't even give that person the time of day when you find out, oh, he's actually hanging around because he likes you and he's too polite or too weak, one of the two, to
Oh, that's
say
the foodie
anything.
call, friend with benefit, or not even friend with benefits, friend zone foodie call guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's jump back in here, but you're absolutely right.
Close to that. It's just too much. Like, it's too much. I can't do it anymore.
You notice how she said that she's been single her entire life. No, she's only been single for that long because she wants to. That's what she wants. Now we gotta go back, guys, to what we always talk about. She wants the same top 10 to 20% of men that everybody wants. That's what she wants. But those guys, they got all the options, guys. Those guys, they don't want her. That's the problem. If she wants a regular guy, she focuses on a regular guy, she can get a regular guy easily. It doesn't take that much, guys, for her to get a regular guy. She's not the best looking woman, but she's not a bad looking woman either, guys. She looks average. That's good enough.
There are some people out there who they're not interested in a relationship and they want to be by themselves. But like, that's not me.
Can you believe how long she is going on with this spiel? I am. I should say I'm shocked, but I'm not. It just goes on too goddamn long.
And that's never
There's nothing
been
shocking
me.
about this
I've
at all.
Always wanted to be.
No, and this is fucking TikTok. You only have a 3-minute limit, so get fucking to it already. Fuck.
A relationship, even though I've never been in one. And even though I'm comfortable by myself and I can do things alone.
I'm strong and independent.
Point, it gets like really sad doing.
Hold it right there.
Jesus Christ! Just her her facial expression screams psychotic. By the way, but Crusader, jump
No.
on it.
All right, put her picture back up. Put the video back up.
Okay, putting her picture back.
Oh, the
Look
fake
at-
wiping away tears.
No, not only that. Not many people will notice this, but she's always looking down and to the left. That's a sign of a lie. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two,
Your
right hand
creativity
side of the
side
video.
brain.
Exactly. Right hand side of the video. Look at, she's got that streak of colored hair, tree frog hair, right there.
Yep.
She's a party girl,
Mm.
and she's trying to hide it, and she's not getting what she wants, and so she's doing this to get the attention.
Yeah. Kazumi,
And
by
you're
the way,
welcome.
good to see you, sir. TikTok has a 10-minute limit now. Dear God, they should have kept that to 60 seconds.
I've heard that.
That's
yeah,
crazy.
that TikTok is becoming YouTube. YouTube is becoming.
It's becoming TikTok, yeah. And YouTube is becoming extinct because Rumble is becoming YouTube. There you go. Let's dive into the rest of this. But Kazumi, nice to see you tonight. As always, sir, thank you for joining.
Things alone.
See, guys, it doesn't matter how many times women say they don't need men. Women need us no matter what. They need our validation. They need our protection and many more. It doesn't matter, guys, how independent they think they are, guys. They still need men no matter what. Women were not meant to be by themselves, guys, which is why it affects them a lot more than it affects us.
Like,
By the way, Kazumi, you're welcome. I must admit, I've been binge watching a lot of your content lately, especially the crime stuff. So you do great work, man.
I've traveled alone to so many places because, like, if I don't go by myself, I'm not going to go. If I don't do things by myself, it's not going to happen.
Women need to stop believing those lies that society tells them, guys. Those lies, none of those lies leads them to happiness. It's all bitterness from there, guys.
But at the same time, like, it's so much fun to be able to, like, share that with someone else. And, like, everyone I know is in a relationship right now. And, like, the majority of them have been in relationships for, like, a long time. Like, this is established. And I just, like, I feel like I've always been alone. And I don't want to be. And I don't understand why this is happening to me.
Seems that her friends may have chosen a different path, which is smart on their part. And guys, if she wants to be taken seriously, guys, she needs to change her hair color. That green needs to go. And guys,
Oh, yeah,
that's
there's a
usually
lot of
red
green
flag.
there, more than just a streak.
So I was in bed
Mhm.
scrolling through TikTok, and
She's still
then
going.
it showed me 3 videos in a row of couples that were all just happy together.
I'm so
And there's
sorry.
like no
I
punchline.
feel so bad for
It
you.
wasn't funny. It was just couples in love.
I don't know if you guys know this. This is the second time she mentioned how much she hates seeing happy couples. And to be honest with you guys,
Right?
that does not surprise me at all.
And on the one hand, it
Okay, so this is Misery Loves Company, crabs in a bucket here. This is just my observation.
Mhm.
She's miserable. She can't find what she wants, even though I suspect her standards are, and they should be more like. But instead of being
Right.
happy for the success of others, she would rather watch them self-destruct as well. Panel, back
Well,
to you really quick, and then
another-
we'll finish this off.
Another thing, she said she's 25 in that other video, and she's never had this, she's never had that, blah, blah, blah. Feel sorry for me, BS. What you're actually looking at is a woman probably going through her 25 to 28 epiphany phase where she's realizing she squandered away the greatest years of her life and the greatest opportunities and chances for her to actually lock down and sustain somebody decent and reasonable and loyal. I mean, she's talked about going out and having fun, doing this, doing that. Yeah, she was probably the type that would go out and play with all the athletes, and she was definitely the one who loved the attention and did whatever she could to, hang and be the arm candy on somebody a lot bigger than her that
Yes.
would dote on her and give her the attention. And now she's not getting that attention anymore. And now she's panicking because that's what she wants to lock down for the rest of her life. And that window is pretty much closed on her now. So she's hitting that epiphany phase, as Pop would call it.
By the way, this is the face. This is the face you make right about the time you realize. Yes, you're going to see this a few times tonight. Right about the time you realize this.
Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square. Stop! Don't touch me there. This is my no-no square.
Yeah.
If you haven't already checked out BillyVonBaum.com or Redonkulous.com, you are seriously fucking up. Go over and check them both out. Redonkulous does some awesome content, and Billy is Billy. So you need to be over there. BillyVonBaum.com. All right, panel, before we jump back into the video, any final thoughts?
What do you want to bet she was a cheerleader in either high school or college, and basically was able to get almost any member of the baseball, basketball, or football team she wanted? And now those dudes are all saying, yeah, I'm going to go over here to this little blonde who is willing to do the things that you're no longer willing to do.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could very well be. All right. Any other final thoughts before we move back into this, and then we'll go to break?
Yeah,
Any other
she'd
thoughts?
fail the dick stacking test.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and for
That's for sure.
those of you that don't understand
she's
the
in
dick
low orbit.
stacking test, Tommy, would you explain to us the dick
Oh
stacking
God, no!
test?
I'm not getting into that.
Come on,
No.
man, you brought it up.
Nope. Oh, by the way,
I-
though, and I should find the link to it. If you guys familiar with single successful male,
I know strong
No.
successful male, but
Strong
not
strong
single.
successful male. That's the guy. SSM.
Yeah.
He did a short clip the other day, and I think it was from a Reddit, but the Reddit clip or the Reddit article actually used Pop's dick stacking test nomenclature throughout and didn't give him any fucking credit.
No, that's bullshit.
No surprise
By
there.
the way,
No
if you,
surprise.
guys, if you guys are curious about what the dick stacking test is, go over to Redonkulous.com and you can search for, even on YouTube, you can search for dick stacking test Terrence Pop. You'll find it. It's
Yep.
good shit.
I mean, this guy even had the pumps per minute, all of it.
We're not going to get into that here, but it's pretty hilarious if you haven't seen that video.
The
Yep.
simple thing, or simple way to understand the dick stacking test. Yeah, take the number that she's said, or that she's told you for how many partners she's had, multiply it by, I want to say 6 for the number of inches, and can use that to calculate how many feet off the ground she is. If
Right.
she would do more than sprain an ankle, probably too many bodies.
There you go. And that is the simple way. Let's finish off this miserable woman's rant, and then we'll move on to a break here really quick. Thank you for bearing with us through this terrible, terrible, terrible time.
Really
Terrible.
irritated me because I was like, that is not what I'm looking for in a TikTok experience. That is not something I can relate to. I'm single
What do you
and
want?
bitter.
Misery,
I'm
sadness,
constantly
depression, death?
disappointed by
Come
men.
on.
I don't want to see that relate to. I'm single and bitter. I'm constantly disappointed
shit.
by men. I don't want to see that.
I think she
Wow.
wants her pee to quit burning.
For her honesty.
Yeah, people trip me out when they think that you gonna hit them up to ask them for something. Baby, I'm not gonna ask you for honey. I don't need nobody for honey. I don't need nobody for
All right. You don't need nobody. Strong, independent. There you go. Again, the channel here, I want to give credit to the channel that made this, is ADM Crazy Reviews. So there you go. That was a fun one to watch. There we go. Everything's updated on my end. By the way, gentlemen, we're about to go to break, so I'm going to do my little business spiel here. if you haven't already, check out redpillrhino.com. We do have options to donate. You can find that in the description of all of the videos you're watching now, whether you're on MGTOW, Rumble, or YouTube. By the way, if you are only on YouTube, please head on over to Rumble or MGTOW. I would like to see 100% of you eventually viewing over on Alt Tech, and then we can have more fun doing Alt Tech shows. We tried that out early, but I need more audience before I can commit to that. But please, and that's the point, move on over to Rumble or MGTOW.tv if you haven't subscribed to us there. Again, it's Red Pill Rhino. On that note, on redpillrhino.com, you can find Bronto Lives Matter merch if you scroll all the way to the bottom. So if you want your own Bronto Lives Matter t-shirts, stickers, and a couple other things, I think there's even a squirrel involved there. You can find that at redpillrhino.com, or you can get hats, you can get t-shirts, you can get all sorts of cool stuff. Red Pill Rhino merch as well. So on that note, if you would like to donate to the show and keep us independent, you can find links again to Cash App and PayPal in the description of these videos. And on that note, we will do a little shameless self promotion here, and then we'll go to break. All right. Watching and going, what the hell is BLM? Bronto Lives Matter? Well, we'll roll that as well just so you guys can see the merch. Essentially, you'd have to have been watching our channels for a while to catch the inside joke, but the Brontosaurus wasn't real. Now it's real. Maybe it's real. I don't know, but BLM merch. Here you go. by the way, every single BLM Bronto Lives Matter merchandise that is sold actually goes to support Billy Von Baum's beer fund. So help him out. Go buy those T-shirts, those stickers, and all that. I'm sure he'll appreciate it. So Red Pill Rhino actually doesn't make any profit from those, but it helps Billy out. So go give it a shot. I'm going to probably order a couple things from there too. There's one shirt in particular I find hilarious. So on that note, we're going to go to an actual break now. I know I just keep pre-rolling breaks and more breaks, but this is the official break. We haven't actually watched this in a while, and I feel like it needs to be watched because it's awesome. Billy Von Baum made this. Jeffrey Paul produced the music himself. So let's go ahead and roll that one. We'll be back in 4 minutes or so. In the meantime, empty your bladders, fill your beers, and get ready for the shit show because we're about to get into why we're here tonight. Talk about the box wine in Gatland. In the meantime, we will see you on the other side. Stop by redpillrhino.com and check shit out while we're waiting. All right, we are back. Thank you again for sticking through to the other side, second half of the show now. Got some articles here to entertain you, that is for sure. We found out that there was a special Prime Day in which a bunch of shit was on discount if you signed up for Prime. And you won't believe what sold the most. Here we go. Let's get into it, gentlemen. Pull this article up here. Everything's lagging on me, of course. I need it to work. It lags. Okay. Here we are. There it is. Now it's working. Okay. This is from usatoday.com. Here's what shoppers bought on Amazon Prime Day 2023. You won't believe number one, or maybe some of you will. This is the whole reason for the title tonight and the topic. Every Amazon Prime Day, shoppers gravitate towards certain items that they buy in droves, and it's not always the kind of stuff you picture selling big. This is especially true for Amazon Prime Day 2023, where shoppers spent most of their money on Fire TV sticks, Echo Dot speakers, and surprisingly, to nobody's surprise here, Temptations cat treats. Uh-oh. This thing's back here screaming at me. Cat treats, though. Here's the deal. Subscribe to our perks. Nope, we're not going to get into that. According to an in-depth report by Numerator, the number one item on Prime Day shoppers bought in droves was Temptations cat treats. On its face, this seems like an odd choice, but cat treats are actually one of the many prudent things to pick up during Amazon's shopping holiday. It's not uncommon for shoppers to stock up on everything from toilet paper to eco-friendly diapers and other household essentials. So why not stock up on cat treats as well, especially when a lot of ladies are collecting cats these days? So let's look at the top sellers. And I'm going to break them down as best I can, in my opinion, of course. These are all allegedly, but here's my opinions on these. So we've got crunchy treats that aren't just tasty, but promote better dental health for your kitty. That's the number one seller. Was it $11.12 at Amazon? Okay, so obviously lots of cats are being collected. Amazon Fire Sticks. Well, if you're going to be collecting cats and drinking wine, you got to have something to watch. So that makes sense too.
Let me push back ever so slightly on that, Rhino.
Go ahead.
That could be guys who have decided they're done with the dating market, and they decide, I'd much rather watch old TV shows that were actually reasonably good, and the only way to do it is using the Fire Stick.
True. Counterpoint to that. Who
Counter
is
the counterpoint.
Which demographic though is the largest? Not consumer, but just a person who buys things.
Good point.
Whether it's consumables, it is greater. What is it? It's like 80%, or
85, 88%, depending on where you get your statistics from.
Yes.
I
While
just
they
had to-
also hold how much of the debt? About the same amount of percentage.
Right.
I just had to point that out, though, just to be fair.
All right. To be fair, we're going to counter the counterpoint as well. And again, thank you, Kazumi. He created a MGTOW account so he could follow us over there. So if you have not created a MGTOW account, you no longer have an excuse. Go over to MGTOW.tv and set up an account. All right. This is where I counter you, sir. Liquid IV packets. Now, if you're going to be collecting cats and drinking lots of box wine, your electrolytes are going to get all fucked up. So you probably need to hydrate twice as fast with convenient packets that turn any bottle or glass of water into a delicious and refreshing electrolyte drink. Are you following me now?
That's why it was always a good idea to be friends with your medic, because if you have a really bad hangover, just like, hey,
give me some of that good stuff.
Yeah. Stick.
Or what about being the medic? What about being the medic, giving yourself the IVs?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there's one way to do it. All right, we have number four. Number four is the Echo Dot 5th generation, because I suppose why not? It's Amazon, so I expect that one.
Because they can talk. They can talk to something that will respond to them. So it's a way for them to counter their self-perceived social isolation because they're staying at home watching old episodes of Sex and the City, and they can talk to their Amazon Dot and feed their cat treats while they drink their wine or their liquid IV.
Touche. And finally, we have on this list Blink Mini Indoor Plug-in Security Camera, because who doesn't want to monitor what their cats are doing throughout the day while they're working a 9 to 5 for a man that hates them versus staying at home and doing housewife stuff for a man that actually loves them.
I actually have that camera.
Well, let's also build on that as well. Women, generally speaking, have an innate vulnerable sensation or feeling no matter where they are. That's why you're going to notice Tommy's awake. He's not sleeping yet.
Oops.
No.
Press the wrong button.
What do you do? No,
I might
it
put
was
him-
just
I might put him to sleep with this one.
no, not at all.
Okay. If you notice anything about how women behave in social settings, you're going to notice women will ball themselves up in corners. Women will also move around in a gaggle, a big group of them, and they're all huddling very close together. That's based on innate survival drive of packing up, because they know one's going to get pulled out of there, but hopefully if they're buried in large enough chunks of people, hopefully they'll be the one that gets saved. You'll notice that in a lot of prey animals will do the same thing. So women having those security cameras will give them a level of security or a way for them to view what's going on around them, to put that basal innate fear and that vulnerability state in their brain at ease and at rest, so they can actually sit home and curl into their couch.
All right.
Crusader, as you were saying that, I swear I'm going to go to hell for this one. I was immediately.
You'll be in good company.
Brandon Trueblood is in the house tonight. Just want to jump in here really quick and say
What's up, Brandon?
Riggs watches his cats. There you go.
Riggs.
As you were saying that, I had the mental image of, oh god, I just lost it. Oh no, a herd of wildebeests or hippos, and
You're not wrong.
If you think back to biology, the one that usually gets pulled out of those formations are the young, the weak, or the old and weak. In this scenario, that would be the thin and cute compared to Lizzo.
Right. Well, I'll the woman we saw previously before the break, we'll just refer to her as Glasses. I guarantee you that woman she said it herself, she's old and she's getting bitter. She's the type that was ordering the cat treats. She's sitting on her couch watching old Sex and the City episodes, curled up in a blanket, crying herself to sleep every night. Probably has multiple cats, and she's the one that has the camera checking out when her neighbors are coming in and out of the apartment building, watching what's going on around her place. She's the type that'll get in her car, lock the doors, and search everything. Like, she's paranoid that someone's going to try and get her. She is that vulnerable type. That is exactly the type of person that buys these things. And the more society does this, and the more this happens, more of the stuff is going to start becoming bigger and bigger top sellers. Mark my words.
I would concur with
I
that.
think you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm wrong, whether I'm right.
Hey, I think I've got a valid counterpoint to all of this.
Okay, go for it.
Those Blink cams that they ordered on number 5, wasn't that number 5?
Mm-hmm.
They're not using those for security, dude. They're doing reality OnlyFans content with those things. I'm telling you, man.
Oh,
It could be.
They're walking around butt ass naked, feeding the cat these treats, doing stupid shit.
all right.
Well,
I
as,
can
long
see
as,
that.
they're not, as long as they're not putting those treats in a place that would cause that poor cat trauma.
Oh, they do that too.
Oh God, no.
I have
What's
an
that?
unopened box, one of those cameras. So you're saying I have a potential to make some money here?
You do. You do. It's likely not to happen, but yeah, you do.
Theoretically, yes.
I just won't show my face.
Realistically,
All right.
probably not.
No. We're going to jump into the next article here. There is some conflicting data, and I want to bring that up. show both sides of the argument here, but typical Amazon shopper. We'll jump into this article here. All right. Excuse the lag if there is any on my end. It seems to be a little slow, but not as terrible as the last few streams. Meet the typical Amazon customer, a college-educated, married woman in the Southeast earning $80,000 a year. Now, I can believe everything but the married part. But then again, those are the same people that are voting for a lot of bullshit, is those same women under that same demographic. So there is that. Okay. Let's get into this article.
Married,
Amazon
legally separated, soon to be divorced.
could be. Yeah, that's where it's going. Amazon
Minor
sells
details I
stuff-
overlooked.
Amazon sells stuff online. Maybe you've heard of it. Great way to start your article. No shit.
What? I gotta check this out.
Yeah, the e-commerce giant is the second largest retailer in the world, making net product sales of $242.9 billion in 2022. Amazon, founded in Seattle in 1994, has an estimated 1,285 distribution centers, fulfillment centers, and other facilities in the U.S., with another 1,088 in other countries around the world. Okay, so we got the facts out of the way. Meanwhile, 8 out of 10 U.S. shoppers are Amazon customers, according to data from analytics firm Numerator, prepared for Insider. This is coming from BusinessInsider.com, by the way. Numerator found that Amazon's typical shopper is college-educated, white, married, and female, and split across between two age brackets, 35 to 44. Here we go. And 55 to 64. Okay, this is where I question that word right there, married. Okay, but she typically lives in the Southeast, does not have children. Again, I question this one right here. Okay, and earns more than $80,000 per year. Now, let me explain to you why I question married so much, because there's a lot of conflicting data here. Married. Okay, we already know, and you guys can jump in and break this down further if you'd like as well. Married doesn't go well with earning that kind of money in these age brackets with no children and college educated. They do not correlate with happily married women with the statistics we've broken down in past videos. Does anybody want to elaborate on that or add to that?
I think you're dead on.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is truth.
And we do have numbers again. It is a thumbnail, which I'm going to be changing. We're going to actually trim that video up a little bit. Those numbers are covered in the Steven Crowder divorce video. So if you haven't seen that in the live shows, go back and check that out. That is where we break down some of those numbers. Very well worth the watch. Okay, now Amazon has the third highest customer loyalty after Walmart and Target among the major brands surveyed, with nearly 89% of its 2021 shoppers returning in 2022. Well, and it's convenient, I'm not going to lie. If you can just open your phone and find anything you're looking for, literally anything, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't use it. I get that. Although, at the same time, the e-commerce giant added far fewer new customers than it lost by a ratio of nearly 5 lapsed customers for each new one last year. The typical customers orders just 1 or 2 items per transaction, but she makes a comparatively high number of transactions per year, with 83 orders at an annual cost of $2,969, Numerator found. All right, about 9% of her spending takes place at Amazon, slightly less than what she spends at Walmart, the world's largest retailer. Amazon customers are also highly likely to compare prices on Amazon, even when shopping elsewhere. Their favorite product categories on Amazon are cell phone accessories. That's not men.
Shocking.
Cases, chargers, maybe men on the chargers, as well as medical supplies and small kitchen appliances. There's a joke in there somewhere. I'm not going to go there, but
Dexter.
If some,
A wine bottle opener?
Oh, yes.
100%. They tend to buy Amazon's in-house labels, and their favorite name brands are Disney, Hanes, Kraft, and Apple, of course. All right. going on down here?
This could be a pop comedy stream right here. You know this, right?
Yeah. This
Oh,
definitely
there's so
could
many
be.
one-liners I'm not saying.
Well, you're more than welcome to jump in with them. I think we've covered that article pretty well, actually. So we'll move on from there.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, I will turn it over to you guys. Your thoughts and/or feelings.
Well, seeing as nobody else is going to chime in.
Well, actually, guys, there is one that Jackal just brought up. The automatic litter box.
Ah, indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I just have to ask this question when it comes to Amazon in general, not even their Prime Day thing. How many of those numbers are taken, or how much do those numbers take into account people going to Amazon for things that they either cannot find where they're at or cannot find easily where they're at? For example, I've used Amazon maybe 10 times in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
The headset that I'm talking to you on right now was recommended by Billy Von Baum. I got it from Amazon. The voice amplifier that I use when I do my cosplay events, so people can hear me in my armor, ordered from Amazon, recommended by another Mando cosplayer. So how many individuals doing those weird one-off purchases are counted in the numbers that they just quoted and then rolled into their mythical average Amazon shopper?
That is a good question.
Yeah, that's a fair one to ask. Because up here in Alaska, we do not have a lot of stores, like retail or outlet box stores that a lot of you are accustomed to in the lower 48. So Amazon is a good, you could say, fulfillment center that works for us.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying that those numbers are wrong. It's just something doesn't seem to add up. And when I smell tuna, I look for the fish.
Not pop
Yes,
tech,
I chose
allegedly?
those words very specifically for this stream.
Yep.
That's good phrasing right there.
That is good phrasing.
Right.
I like that.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, remember when people write articles, they cherry pick their data. They pick and choose what they want to focus on, and they want to make a point. What they're doing is they're trying to hit a target demographic or a target audience. What that is the women that fall into this category. They basically want them to say that, hey, you're not alone. You're married. You're in a relationship, blah, 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 blah. What you're doing is quote unquote normal. It's okay to be doing this. Well, we can look at divorce statistics. We can look at Department of Labor wages per household. Last time I looked at that, what did they say? The average household income was $56,600 or $800.
Sounds
So
about right.
when you have a household income that's $80,000 and a married woman, okay, yeah, well, haven't we seen enough data showing that divorces are happening at breakneck speed? Less and less people are getting married. Oh yeah, wasn't it last year or maybe a year or two ago, David's Bridal filed for bankruptcy? Anybody else notice, a couple of red flags just in the title alone? It's not like I'm stickler for details or anything, but
no, not at all.
Just saying, just throwing that out there.
And Kazume in the chat, when you smell tuna, she needs a douche. And probably some pills.
Ouch.
Just saying. I think we're beyond just the douche at that point. Let's see. We're going to actually shift gears. There's some data I could pull up some more, but I think we've gotten the Amazon point out of the way. But yeah, it looks like box wine and cats are on the rise. And wouldn't you know it, just in time for a lot of women from this current generation to hit the wall. On that note, I have something to share. If I can get it to work. There we go.
The wall. No man on earth can make it fall.
I was hoping you were going to play that.
It's not as good as Jimmy. I don't know.
That's good.
That was worth. All right. We have some interesting information about dating, modern dating as well. So let's jump into that. If I can get it to pull up again. Okay, here we go. This is from MichiganDaily.com. Here we go. Let's see. There, that's what I want. All right, modern romance is dead, and Tinder killed it. Shocker, shocker.
I sent you.
Yes, yes. I had to save some of these. These need to be discussed. From FaceTime and instant messaging to the plethora of social media platforms on the internet, the interconnected has perhaps become the most fitting term to describe contemporary society. And indeed, with our ability to communicate with anyone at the click of a button, we now have more opportunities to connect than ever before. All of this considered, one question remains: why do so many Americans feel more lonely now than ever? I'm going to go ahead and guess that everybody uses social media and has no social skills, and therefore doesn't engage with people in public. Therefore, they're very isolated, and they wouldn't even know how to talk to another human being to pick up a date if they wanted to, men and women included, to save their lives. And they've turned to social media. Don't do that. But they've turned to social media to try to find the love of their life. The answer may be rooted in the decline of genuine and authentic relationships, you think? Particularly romantic relationships, because most people are just hooking up, fucking and sucking and moving on at this point. A study conducted at the University of California, Berkeley, revealed that the number of Americans who do not have a steady romantic partner has increased by 50% since 1986. That's crazy.
50?
Only 50. Only 50 reported, but that is still a ridiculously high number. Many experts are attributing this statistic to the rise of social media and casual dating apps. Shocking again. With nearly half of young adults in the U.S. reporting having used an online dating platform. That's only the ones that are being honest and telling you that they actually did, versus those that don't want to admit to it. Apps such as Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, and OkCupid are all marketed with the promise to increase your chance of finding love. I'm going to interject there too. If you are female, they are marketed to you. If you are male, they are absolutely not for you. And I will wager that more and more they are a pay-to-play program in which you've got to dump more and more money in just to find matches, which still will probably half the time ghost you or end up using you for a foodie call or, trade in for the top 20%er anyway. So your odds of finding somebody as a long-term committed relationship on a dating app are extremely low. And even if you're only trying to be a Chad and pump and dump, you've got to be in the top 20% of men to pull that off. So I don't recommend dating apps. I would never recommend dating apps. And if any of you are paying for dating apps, don't drop the subscription and be done with it. That also applies. Yes, that also applies, gentlemen. I'm going to hold you accountable here because we wouldn't have this issue if you would stop it. I don't know who, but somebody is subscribing to shit like OnlyFans and giving into these women and being simps. Please knock that shit the fuck off. We wouldn't have this culture if you gentlemen wouldn't be buying it. Anyway, however, the numbers don't seem to add up. Despite the high volume of individuals who use these dating sites, about 53 million in 2022, only 12% of these individuals reported eventually forming a committed relationship because, again, they're hookup apps for 80% of women to sleep with 20% of men. Those are the statistics we have found in videos we've done in the past. 80% of women are sleeping with the top 20% of men, meaning if we get into that data again, it goes back to that divorce video. Women are willing to share the top 20% of men and ignore the bottom 80% of men. So that is something to take into account as well. So why is this the case? The ultimate goal of online dating apps should be to function as a conduit in creating committed relationships, right? Wrong. And they weren't designed that way either. They were designed to make money. They weren't designed for love and marriage and happiness. They were designed as a way to get the suckers to pay. The realm of online dating has become a multi-billion-dollar industry. They read my mind here. An industry that profits primarily off user addiction, especially by keeping its users single. Again, I'm shocked. The way that the industry accomplishes this is twofold, relying on the qualities of gamification and what psychologist Barry Schwartz refers to as the paradox of choice. The presence of choice paradox in online dating is perhaps best understood through the analogy of online shopping. Studies have shown that shoppers are exposed to more options for potential purchases. They are paradoxically less likely to be satisfied with their ultimate decision. And Better Bachelors cover this as well. If you're given the option of one t-shirt, you're usually pretty happy about it. If you're given the option of 2 or 3 t-shirts, you're still pretty happy. But once you get 10 or more options, I would say even 5 or more options of t-shirts and styles and brands, you're no longer satisfied with those choices. And it's more like at that point, chasing the dragon, if you will. You're always looking for better and better and better. That is what these dating apps are setting off as well.
Could I say something on that, Rhino, that kind of corresponds?
Mm-hmm.
I'm an avid wargamer. For any of you in the Gilded that see my stuff, you know that there's no secret there. You could classify me as having gaming ADD, because the number of games that I have is excessive. The number of games that I'm satisfied with can be counted on one hand. And most of those games are now dead games because no one plays them. The paradox of choice, it is literally everywhere you do anything.
Yeah, that is true. Jumping back in here, as our brains become inundated with a variety of choices, we often experience choice paralysis, an anxiety-induced state that prevents us from making a resounding decision. Again, with these ladies in particular, because the men, let's be honest, how men are using these dating apps is swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe on and on and on and on, and hope to God the matches they get weren't the 300-400 pounders that they saw while they were swiping right. That's basically how men are using these dating apps. It's just pick everything and hope for the best. Whereas women are swiping left. Again, statistically, 80% of the time. The 20% that they're choosing, again, are high value men. Now, here's the catch. So they're high value men. You would think, well, that's great. So a woman could meet a high value man and settle down with a doctor or a lawyer. Well, first of all, those high value men aren't using dating apps. Okay, they have no interest in it. The high value men that we have left are based on superficial things like attractiveness and things like that. Therefore, these guys tend to be more players than they tend to be potential marriage material. So these women cycle through these men, but again, they're spoiled for choice, so they can't pick one. So we try to become the town bicycle instead of finding the correct guy to settle down with, which in turn creates a lack of pair bonding, because after about 5 partners, again, statistically speaking, these women are no longer capable of lifetime commitment. So it is a cycle that continues on and on. Now that you've broken the pair bonding, again, you get into the choice paralysis and you want more and different and different and different and new, to the point where these women can't commit. And this is where you see women over 30 that are still attractive. Some of them are very attractive, but they're single. And you wonder why? Well, I answered your question there. That is why. Because they are the town bicycle and everybody's had a ride. On Tinder, the user's experience of choice overload has become a frequent occurrence. In the emergence of what some are calling serial swipers, many users can be seen displaying strong hesitations to commit to a singular option due to fears of missing out on a potentially better one. The infiltration of choice paradox into the realm of relationships is especially dangerous. Unlike the case of online shopping, users aren't choosing between products, they're choosing between people, which is pretty fucked up when you think about it. The resulting world of online dating has become a breeding ground for objectification, sexual harassment, and insecurity, as choices are increasingly influenced by abundance and appearances rather than genuine compatibility. And again, you're not going to get to know things like a person's personality or what their goals are in life or any of that from swiping left or swiping right, nor are a lot of these people interested in putting in the time to figure that out. It's a pump and dump game. The other driving factor behind the addictive quality of these dating apps is gamification. Natasha Dow Schull, the author of Addiction by Design, defines gamification when developers loosely apply game elements to other aspects of life, which is how Facebook works as well. And I'll explain that briefly. If you've ever noticed Facebook, TikTok, even YouTube does a slot machine thing to you, if you ever been watching or looking at stuff on Facebook and you're like, man, this is all news I'm not interested in. They get you to pull down and then it refreshes your news feed. This happens on YouTube, TikTok, all of them. Pull down, pull down, pull down. And that is the addiction. It keeps you invested in it. And every time is a new dopamine hit because you're getting new material, similar to how these dating apps are working. To capture attention, motivate engagement, and drive revenue, Scholl explains that these dating apps are indifferent to positive user outcomes such as committed relationships or marriage. Rather, they are driven by the ultimate goal of increasing revenue and ensuring that their users remain on these dating apps is one of the best ways to do so. Accordingly, these platforms are engineered to be addictive, utilizing the same game-like qualities found in gambling slot machines, as I was saying, to keep audiences engaged. The most tangible example of this can be found in the concept of the infinite scroll. The infinite scroll is a feature used on most social media networks and dating apps that allows users to scroll continuously between posts and profiles rather than clicking through various pages. Hinging up on what psychologists have termed a unit bias, the ability to endlessly scroll exploits the natural desire of humans to complete a defined unit of something. When the unit becomes undefined, or in this case, infinite, the brain exhibits an addictive response, urging us to keep scrolling in hopes of reaching the next non-existent point of completion. It functions similarly to a slot machine. The point in which the user will receive their theoretical reward is undefined, so they continue to buy into the system in the hopes that they'll eventually hit the jackpot on their next term. The ethical ramifications of introducing this concept to the world of romantic relationships are appalling, as users continue to endlessly swipe through apps like Tinder, Hinge, and the reward they're seeking isn't simply monetary. It's a real person with a real life that they're interacting with. Exactly. The instant gratification offered by each match causes the idea of exclusivity to appear unsettling. With many individuals remaining addicted to these apps, even when in committed relationships. Isn't that fucking lovely? And not to mention, statistics again show that 50% of women in a committed relationship have a backup plan, another man, in case they don't think things work out. 50% of women in relationships. That is insane. Specifically, 30% of Tinder users are married. Dear God. And another 12% are in relationships. Because of this, the online dating world has become a hotbed for cheating and non-committed sex. Users find themselves immersed in an endless twisted game where matches and hookups function as points to keep score. All of these conditions have combined to create an online dating environment that is less than ideal. Unfortunately, these negative impacts have been shown to disproportionately affect women. Again, not shocked. Studies have shown that women are significantly more likely to experience online abuse and harassment on these platforms than men. Specifically, in a study of women who had used some type of dating platform in the last 15 years, over 1/3 of them have reported that they were sexually assaulted by someone when they met on one of these apps. Reports of lowered self-esteem and feelings of objectification are also not uncommon. Now, I will actually side with this. I know I could already hear a sigh there. When you're getting on a dating app, are you expecting there not to be predatory people on there as well? On the flip side of that, there are people with absolutely zero social skills, the harmless ones, so to speak. But there are predators out there, and they know, especially, that these women are vulnerable. Now, I am taking sides with them briefly here. They did make the choice to get on there, but there are predators. They should be aware of that and make wiser decisions in their dating choices. Maybe vet the guy a little bit more before you just show up to a date with a stranger that you met online. That's just my thought. Chat, I'm going to hand it over to you really quick. And let's jump into that a little bit more.
Well, there are predators everywhere, online, offline. It doesn't matter. We all say the 90s was like a golden decade because we could leave our houses unlocked.
Yeah.
And that was the feeling that we had. But I mean, the predators or the malicious actors were still there.
Oh yeah,
but
very true.
What is it? The lifestyle of the 90s kind of fettered a lot more community. So if you go hit one house, Like somebody just goes robs a house or does a home invasion for bad things. You have people watching your neighbors are watching your houses all the time.
Yeah.
Mainly because they're so close to each other. Not like New York City close, but also not like rural America where you have one house every square mile, or every mile in distance in some areas. But it was a different time, and like today, nobody ever trained us or trained you guys as civilians to have that eternal vigilance. I learned about it through the army because, well,
Every
shocker.
soldier's a censor.
Yeah, anybody who's in law enforcement, you know that these things happen. You are no longer ignorant because you've been forced to either be trained on how to deal with them. It's your job to be in, you could say, the combat side of it, or if you're in the service, you're very well familiar with this quarterly training for even the most mundane subjects. But like anti-terror level 1, yeah. But just regular, like we got trained in anti-terrorism as just not even frontline. That was just required for everybody.
Yep.
And it was usually so banal to be absolutely worthless.
And I actually am going to touch on this.
Agreed.
I want to give you, Tom, a chance to jump in here. I did see your chat here, and to a degree, I do agree with you, Crusader. If you don't have them off the top of your head, which I'd be shocked, I'm curious what the statistics on false reporting are in this country when it comes to sexual assault. We'll just say it. Fuck it, YouTube.
Well, to address the statistics of essays, you would have to actually have a standardized metric of what is classified as an essay in order to get a unified statistic state by state, or even to put together a national statistic on that. Because in some areas, if what you would qualify as an essay would be somebody just looked at me weird or made an inappropriate comment, there are people that are making an accusation of an essay, which is then followed up and registered and listed as one, even though it wasn't actually what it was. So until we can get a verified, concrete definition of what it is, I can't get you a solid data, any solid data or statistics on that.
Fair enough. All right. On that note, we'll get back into the end of the article. We've got one paragraph left, so why not churn through it? Reports of lowered self-esteem and feelings of objectification are also not uncommon. The ability of users to create an idealized, filtered version of themselves online can promote unhealthy thinking. I want to point out Snapchat and Instagram as well. Most of these women, and this is fucking with the men too. Not gonna lie. When you have the ability to filter and edit and reproportion yourself and make yourself look flawless, no pores, no imperfections, nothing. When you do this, you're not only lying to yourself, and you show up to a date and men see you for who you really are, and then go, oh, why are men not interested in me? Because you're lying. You're lying. But also, this is fucking with men's perception of what realistic women look like. And I'll admit, I used to do, as I've said a few times in the show, I used to do model photography. And the amount of airbrushing and fixing of imperfections, you do get to a point. You almost get nihilistic because you're like, women don't look like this. And it does affect men, just men that aren't even paying attention to it, that don't even know about the editing process or the filters or anything. They see all these women on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, whatever it is, and they see all these perfect, amazing airbrush Playboy model style looking women. And then you take those filters all off, and women have done this just to show how strong and empowered they are. They do the makeup-less photos or whatever, and then you see they're not even the same person. She goes from looking like she's 21 to 37, which she actually is, and you wouldn't have known without those filters. But again, it is harming society as a whole because there's no genuine, authentic version of yourself to be seen anymore unless it's in person. And a lot of these people aren't even getting to that point to where, they're making these decisions to be in committed relationships. But the point I wanted to make with that is bottom line. It is harming, again, both the men and the women in this equation. The men, they're doing the whole, renting a fucking, some men, not all men, some men are renting the fucking Ferrari and, doing the roids and I'm strong and successful and, all that crap. That's their own front when that's not really their authentic version. But the women are far worse. Their whole life is wrapped up in this lie they've created. And it started with that fucking filter. So just something to think about. I don't know the solution to it. Women aren't going to stop doing it. I mean, it's a trend. Women are kind of herd mentality. One does the duck face. Next thing you know, everybody's doing the duck face. One does a tramp stamp. Everybody's doing a tramp stamp. One gets an underboob tattoo. Everybody has the underboob tattoo. This isn't going to solve itself until, one woman goes, let's just all be natural. And the other women are going to look at her and say, fuck you.
What does that mean?
Why?
Yeah. What does it mean?
Yeah.
But,
Let's all be natural. Actually have hair on their nether regions.
Well,
I'll
this,
agree to
this article
disagree.
brings
Maybe not that natural.
Hey,
yeah. Well,
a nice
this
trim
article
bush
brings up,
is a beautiful thing.
All right, moving on.
yeah. And in other news, what we're looking at is when they're talking about the younger women, which is let's say 18 to 38 roughly, are the ones that are getting this activity on dating apps and swiping left, swiping right, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other thing. I haven't seen any data on what the numbers of like statistically, if you were to break it down, what's the number of men who match with these women on a daily basis versus what happens when these women, there has to be a cutoff, age range on the top end. I know everybody's going over the OK Stupid statistics where it showed that all the guys are looking at the 22 to 23-year-old female, but there has to be a cutoff point. I don't know, is it 35? Is it 40, 45? I mean, there has to be a point in a time in these online dating apps where there is data available that shows where the shoe becomes taken off and put on the other foot, so to speak, because at some point in time, women will realize that all the attention they've been getting from men from, let's say, 20 to 40 is no longer available,
right?
Or whatever time frame that is. And then the tables turn where the women are hunting, actively seeking men, because they're in that 40 to 80 window. When and where does that start? I mean, has anybody taken a look at when those age ranges begin and when they end?
Chris,
and
I have the answer. I have the answer.
Silver singles?
It's a
silver single?
It's when they're defined as cougars. That's when that kicks in.
You know
Hang on.
You knew exactly where I was going.
Yes.
In all,
Go ahead,
in all
Mando.
seriousness, that is information they will not put out
No,
because
it won't.
the people that run these apps, they want everyone to believe that even Joe Schmo, average dude, can go on there and find the love of your life for just 50 easy payments of your life savings.
Right.
And they're never going to actually put out that the only time Joe Schmo, average dude, actually gets a match on these apps is when he goes after ladies in Rhino's demographic, and half of them don't even know what the hell they're looking at.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, they're
all right.
never going to put that in. You're going to get this government to admit that they actually recovered bodies from Area 51 before you're going to get these dating apps to tell the truth.
Could be true.
Not wrong.
All right.
Maybe a
Before we
little
finish
harsh,
off this
but-
article, anybody else want to add to that?
Well, I do want to give you credit, Rhino. You're actually catching on to what I was building towards. You're growing. You're improving as a person.
I think we'll take the show with some Cougar Academy stuff tonight for that reason. So, all right, we're gonna finish off this article now. So these claims that the dating apocalypse is upon us actually hold any validity?
Yes.
Yes. But they're going to say the answer is complicated. While the rise of social media and online dating apps have perpetuated a strong hookup culture, a growing awareness of the toxicity of these platforms is also to create an equally strong counterculture movement. Could be some of us, could be some people in the community, some MGTOW, some Red Pill, some of those guys are like, it's not fucking worth it. But you know what? It's not just the hookup culture. It's the dating and marriage problems we're having, especially when it comes to laws regarding marriage. There is just no fucking reason right now that any man in his right mind would sign on the dotted line to have his business partner, which is what they call it, a partner, take half of his shit and is incentivized to do so by breaking the contract. That is insane. No sane man is going to do that. Now, there are plenty of men that, she loves me, she's different, but those men are going to have a wake-up call soon enough, and then they'll be coming to us because we don't recruit. We simply provide the data so they can make better decisions in the future. But let's finish off the article now.
When you finish that, I want to say something that will probably blow your mind.
Yes, please do. But let's move on here. Mounting pressure as a result of sexual harassment and the lack of corporate oversight has spread awareness about the issue of fostering further research into how to correct the faulty nature of these apps. Delete them. That's the solution. For the foreseeable future, however, it seems as though these apps are here to stay. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it is true. Accordingly, users have a choice to make. In a world that is becoming increasingly digitized, it is up to each of us to decide whether we want our love lives to fall into that category as well. No, that's my opinion, though. Crusader Nate, jumping over to you, sir.
Okay. How long has Tinder and how long have these quote-unquote dating apps been popular? You say about 10 years?
Since at least 2009.
Yeah, I would say 2008, somewhere around there, yeah.
Okay, mainstream, like where did all these, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, I would say it's around 2010, 2012, right? And the ugly head of all these dating apps and all of this stuff occurring really started to show a light on the dark side of relationships, hookup culture, and everything around 2012. Wouldn't you agree? Somewhere around that range?
Sounds about right.
That sounds reasonable.
Maybe, yeah.
All right. And around the 2012 era, around that time frame, wouldn't you say that would be the foundational period of the people who were bringing the quote-unquote red pill out into the mainstream of society and showing the ugly faces of divorce? All right. Tinder came out in 2012. Okay.
I'm gonna interject briefly. I was really hoping you were gonna mention the Hadron Collider, but we'll go back to what you're actually saying.
Okay, no, let's build that in. Okay. And that also first fired up in what, 2012?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first black holes created on Earth.
Okay. Now, 2012 seems to be the pinnacle, the turning point, kind of an unveiling of kind of the dark side of humanity in the human mind and humankind as a species. Wouldn't you say that was kind of the unveiling point of the dark side of
I
humankind?
would say it's when this is the conspiracy theory. Of course, I'm saying this somewhat in jest. We all got zapped into an alternate universe, and now we're dealing with the consequences of creating miniature black holes. Especially
I got
if
a
you look
couple
around.
things when you're done.
I'm just going to add to that really quick and jump back to Crusader, but it's really apparent when you look at the current state of affairs in our country and the things going on, even at the very top. Back before 2012, coke houses were usually pretty run down, but now they're very pristine. You might even call them White Houses.
Or they're government funded.
Yeah. Well, you guys are only building to the point here for me.
Okay.
How many people on the panel here have ever looked at or read into any ancient Greek or words brought to English from ancient Greece? Anybody on the panel? Yes,
I
no,
have
maybe?
A few, because ironically enough, I went to a Christian college, and what is it? There is actually a whole class dedicated to the Greek interpretation of the Bible, because that's where we actually get most of the English interpretation, is because a lot of the surviving texts that were not Hebrew, they were written in Greek.
Yep.
Yep.
Or Aramaic, and the
Yeah,
Greek was
but there's
easily
a lot
translated.
of Greek philosophy that goes along with it, like the logos, and things like
Mhm.
that. A lot of stuff I've forgotten, which that's how important that class was.
Right.
But also a couple of points real quick since I'm on full screen. Rhino,
Oh,
I just got a notification for this stream on Rumble like 2 minutes ago.
that's odd.
That's odd. And
Very
also,
odd.
you know what also was supposed to happen in 2012? The end of the world according to the Mayan calendar.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sean,
Which
Sean,
it wasn't supposed
you're
to be
going.
that. It was supposed to be a shift. Like it's a new world that starts.
Oh, I
Not like
think
the
you'd have
end
to-
of it's the end of the
A new
old
cycle.
world. Now we're in the new world,
Mhm.
which is where I think you're correct, as in humanity's the extremely negative side of humanity is now going to be
Unveiled?
front facing.
Yeah.
Well,
Brandon,
would you
True Blood in the
say
chat here really quick. There used to be personal ads in the newspaper. Then it was Craigslist. Then Yahoo chat rooms. Then dating apps. This isn't new. It's just experiencing exponential growth.
Yeah.
what it hit a
Yeah.
critical mass of movement at that point in time, and Sean kind of jumped right ahead and went right where I was going with this, because if you look at it, that Mayan calendar, December 21st, 2012, started a new cycle. Anybody who studied ancient Greek or understands anything about the ancient Greek languages, we use the term apocalypse now, but if you look at that in ancient Greek, it actually means an unveiling.
Different.
If you look at it,
Yeah.
we've had nothing but an unveiling for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I would say so. An unpleasant one, by the
What-
way.
Without going too deep into the religious side of it, there are actually a lot of so-called apocalyptic books in the Bible,
Oh yeah.
including the
Unveiling
Book of
books, yeah.
Revelation, that do describe a lot of stuff that's eerily similar to things that we have going on. Now, it could be argued that they're talking about shit that happened in the times when these books were written, and it was just a political commentary, but
Mhm.
history most certainly seems to return to a previous state.
Yes. And I was just going to
Well,
say
here's
that
what,
this all seemed to start happening at the same time, and we're 10 years into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. That is true.
And
I can't
I've lost
argue with
count of
you
the
at all.
number of times I've said, "Stop the planet, I want off."
Yeah, it's you know, and I'll say this, man. I'm trying to behave on YouTube. I mean, I started off a little rough, but listen.
Yeah, but you can't edit this as easily as the beginning.
There is no fucking way. If you were to ask me in 2012 if there would be a Rachel Levine in government, and you
wouldn't
couldn't
surprise
tell me. Yeah, you could. No, in 2012, no.
That wouldn't have
I can't
surprised me.
The insanity of, for example, and I'm not suggesting it's everybody in these communities, but I am suggesting that the rise of individuals at certain parades that say we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children, drag queen story hours at schools for children. This is shit, and I can't. I mean, I've only been on the this rock for 36 years, but prior to 2012, I could not have for a second have believed you if you had come back from the future and said in 2023 there will be drag queens reading stories to children in elementary schools. I would have laughed hysterically and told you, stop taking the drugs, man. I'm serious.
Well, I hate to say it, but going back to the early 2000s, there was a primetime major TV show called Will and Grace. It was big. It was popular. It was one of the big major TV shows of the time.
Openly
Yes.
gay TV shows on a big mainstream network.
Major.
It was, a
Yes.
lot of people got angry about it. I mean,
Yes.
I even watched it with my family quite a bit because the comedy was good.
Comedy
It
was
more on the
decent.
writing and the comedy, and less on the
Yeah.
sexual part.
Right. I dated a girl.
Innuendo was
dating a
there,
girl
but
at the
that was
time.
it.
Yeah, it was a kind of a back note thing. I remember dating a girl at the time, and all her friends wanted to watch that, and so she would go over, and I'd stop by after work, and I told her at the time, I said, "Look, it's going to start here." I said, "The next thing you're going to know is you're going to end up having drag queen teachers. You're going to have drag queen stuff." And she's like, "That's never going to happen." I got an email from her probably a year ago. She's like, "Hey," she's like, "I found your email." She's like, "Oh my God, you were right."
Mm-hmm. And I hope she apologized.
Well, it was a mission creep for over a decade up until they felt like they had enough influence and power to just completely come out of the closet. When they did it, there's spotlights and they're dressed in like glitter attire, and it took the world by storm, both with people who support LGBTQ and people who are like, we're tolerant of it, but this is kind of a little bit much for the public sphere. And then, well, there's always going to be homophobes out there. You cannot get rid of bias. Some people have never learned tolerance. That's a shame for them. They should, because I've met plenty of gay people who I still consider friends. And
perfectly.
And granted, we have opposite opinions about that topic, but
true.
Everything else, we're all good.
Yep.
But
I
when
agree.
it becomes who you are, then I think there's a personal problem, because if you can summarize yourself by your sexuality, you are limiting yourself.
You're a one-dimensional individual.
Yes.
Hey, and I wanted to add something to that. The teaching of empathy has fallen out of favor completely.
Oh, yes, it has.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to put themselves in someone else's shoes unless it fits their ESG score. Fuck you. You're fucking wrong, and you've lost the thread completely.
Well, they've lost their minds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
all right.
This is the same thing. It's all snowballing up to this same point with what we're seeing with the whole box wine and cat land, new residents moving in, so to speak. I mean, we're seeing the exact same thing. This has all been happening for quite a while. It's just now coming up to a point where people can start to see it. And as a wonderful young child of a friend of mine made a point a couple months back, she was talking about how, wasn't it in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, when there was the problem with all the crack houses and the crack cocaine and all the big drug stuff going on in all the big cities? Now all the crack babies and everything like that being born at that point in time, aren't those babies old enough to be adults now?
Yep.
Just saying.
Well, yeah, they're our age.
And you can liken it to the lead poisoning caused by leaded gasoline from the 70s.
Well, I'm kind of tying in with this, and maybe a little tangential, and I apologize.
No, it's okay.
It makes me wonder how many people like myself were put on things like Ritalin for alleged ADHD or other behavioral issues that now have a hard time interacting with people in real life, because when we were younger, the parts of our brains that were developing, that were interfered with by those meds, might have actually been parts of your brain that you needed, so you knew, oh, that's how to tell when this person actually likes having me around, and they're not actually just humoring me, or other nonsense like that.
Going to go over to this chat really quick on Rumble. I've neglected you guys tonight. I want to get it out of the way. Calliope here. Rhino, you're exactly right. A man who takes care of himself becomes much more attractive to women, which is merely a benefit, not a goal. She also adds here, desperation is a universal turnoff. I agree with that 100%, and I have emphasized that a lot. It goes on deaf ears, but yeah, self-deprecation has its limits, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a crutch. Don't use it as one. Axe Bus here. The guys she has since Friend Zone probably moved on. Yeah, no shit. BGDTCH. Yep, I dance to Box One and Catland every time. Got to keep the pop and toxic male fans going. Awesome. Moang. If you wish to see something truly sad, wait about 20 years and bring your popcorn. These women will be utter messes and unsavable, and they did it to themselves. And at that point, they're probably going to be begging the government for a bailout because they will be in poverty and potentially homeless because they didn't make good decisions with their finances. So, yeah, you're right. Be prepared for that. I see MGTOW Outlaw quiet on the panel tonight, but in the chat on Rumble if you want to go talk to him over there. Moang, not too much. Oh, that's just a talk between you guys. J371. I had the same discussion with a girl I knew at the time. She told me to leave because I was intolerant. Calliope adds to that. She wasn't very tolerant. So there you go. Jumping over to MGTOW really quick. Just want to make sure I don't miss you guys because I do appreciate you coming on and being a part of the show. SBC had a lot to say here, so I'll just read these. I think he actually took a little bit of a catnap here. Women control access to sex. Men control access to relationships and marriage. She has no eggs. The egg carton is empty, he says. He goes on here. She sleep with all the guys' sports teams. Yeah, sleeps with everybody on the sports team. Yeah. And he adds here, maybe she should stop uploading to Dick Talk. What in the fuck was that She-Boon sub-ape thing? Fucking kill it with hellfire or holy fire. Jesus Christ. I can't read that one, SBC. And now we're caught up. There are some that I cannot read on YouTube for obvious reasons. Okay, WS back over on YouTube. No eggs. You ain't got no eggs. And if you haven't already, check out Hammerhand. He is on YouTube, MGTOW.tv, and I think he might start up a Rumble here, but Hammerhand
I think he's actually on
no
Rumble now.
eggs on. All right,
Yeah,
if he's
he
on
is.
Rumble now, go check him out over there. All right, we are caught up on the chat. I'm going to do one more article. We're going to do another shameless self-promotion. It might involve a certain academy. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. We'll do that. We'll change subject a little bit and then wrap up tonight. But let's jump into yet another article about awful dating apps and how they're destroying the world. But in good news, there is some indication that things are improving slightly. So we'll take a look at that. All right, here we go. And my computer's fans are spinning, so I'm sure my CPU is saying, fuck you right now, as usual. We will be changing that in the future. Just take some time. I got to come up with finances. I got a lot of things going on right now. I got a car that I need to still replace. I've got moving to do, so the computer is low on the bucket list, but we'll get there. Here we say in this article from similarweb.com, online dating activity down 14% on apps, 22% on the web. Valentine's Day online dating market update. Online dating services continue to attract fewer users in their apps, fewer visitors to their websites. We called it romance recession last time we covered online dating, and it's only gotten deeper. That's what she said. Since mobile apps are extremely important to the online dating market, this time we worked with data scientists from SimilarWeb Research and Development to create a combined monthly active users estimate for iOS and Android in the United States. It shows app usage is trending down. That is also what we see with the web access to dating services. This pattern weighs on a number of public companies, including Match Group, NASDAQ, owner of many of the largest online dating websites and apps, for which usage of mobile apps were tracked down 16.5% year over year. In January, using U.S. numbers, U.S. web traffic to match brand websites was down 22%. Match missed Wall Street expectations in its January 31st earnings report. Again, keep in mind the way this article is worded. Follow the money and you'll find the source of the problem. Again, dating apps are about keeping this in their pockets and not finding you a partner. All right, key takeaways. In the U.S., usage of mobile dating apps for dating was down nearly 14% in January compared with January 2022. So this is relevant to 2023. U.S. web traffic to popular online dating sites was down 22% year over year in January. Traffic to Match Group's websites was down by the same amount, according to similar web estimates, with only Tinder showing a small 1.6% increase. Yeah, because more booty calls are happening and less people are looking for relationships. Sign of the times. Using Android daily active users as our metric for the rest of the world, where iOS is not as big of a factor, usage is basically flat. In the UK, the daily active user count for sampling of apps was down 7.6. Tinder remains the most popular app in the US with 3.9 million monthly active users across iOS and Android in January, according to similar web estimates. However, the user count for Tinder was down 18.5 in January year over year. The next most popular single dating app in January was Bumble, with 2.5 million daily active users. Bumble saw a 4.5 year over year drop in users. And in the UK, Hinge has pulled ahead of Tinder in recent months. Tinder had about 297,000 daily active users on Android in January, with about 270,000 for Tinder. Both Match Group brands, both are Match Group brands. Our combined iOS and Android monthly active users metric for the US also shows Hinge gaining monthly active users by 3.8 year over year. If you're interested in this, it's a similar web article, obviously titled Online Dating Activity Down 14%. Now, you can see all these graphs and wonderful things to back up all of their statistics, but statistics can lie. Either way, if you want to check this out, be sure to head over there. And like I said, this is the title. I'll leave that on the screen for a second longer. Okay, I think it is time at this point to roll into some more shameless self-promotion. I think you guys will enjoy this if you haven't seen it before. Let me make sure I roll the right one. There's a few floating around here. All right, let's try this one out and see what happens.
Hello, my name is Red Pill Rhino. You may know me from such shows as The Redonkulous Show and Jimmy Bone's Waffle Hour. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that is near and dear to my heart. Cougars. Older women often know what they want in the bedroom and are confident in their sexuality, which can lead to a more satisfying, intimate experience for both partners. However, oftentimes most younger men don't realize the richness and joy an older cougar can bring to their lives. Not only will a cougar shower her young lover with attention and affection, but she will also reward her young lover with gifts and riches. Not only now, but with her insurance policy in the future when things, how can I put this, come to an end. You are probably asking, Rhino, how can I tap into this amazing opportunity? Well, that is where I'm here to help. Introducing the Red Pill Rhino Master Cougar Slayer Academy. My patented system takes you from level 0 to level 10 hero in no time at all. I will teach you the skills you need to land your own cougar. You'll learn skills such as what to do when your cougar falls down and can't get up, how to check blood pressure and blood sugar levels correctly, wheelchair maintenance and repair, proper casket shopping and selection, diaper changing etiquette, and much, much more. The process begins when you meet with one of our professional cougar consultants who's trained to match you with the cougar that's right for you. Once matched, you'll be introduced to your cougar via Zoom call. That is, if your cougar knows how to work her computer's camera. From there, you will meet your cougar and your budding love affair will soon bloom into a rich and warm relationship filled with lots of fun times and the many inevitable doctor's visits. All the while continuing your cougar mastery courses to hone your cougar slaying skills. You may ask, Rhino, this sounds expensive. And that is where you'd be wrong, because I am bringing you my services for the low, low price of only $69.95 a month. For this amazing low price, your world will be transformed forever. A world where you and your cougar will romp and enjoy life as it was intended. But wait, there's more. Not only will I be bringing you my cougar slaying courses for this incredibly low price, but I'm also going to include the Cougar Cub Connection Network, a place I created for you to meet other like-minded cougars and cubs to share in your amazing journey. But you need to act now as space is limited and classes are filling up quickly. Join the hundreds of happy and satisfied cubs and cougars today by joining the Red Pill Rhino Cougar Hunting Academy. You'll be glad you did, and so will your cougar. Join today by visiting redpillrhino.com. My name is Rhino, Red Pill Rhino. I'm what you call a Master Cougar Slayer, level 10.
We're gonna stay on the same gear. We've actually stayed on one consistent topic tonight. Shocker. We do have a few other stories to cover, but they'll just be end caps here. I want to get into this I saw on Rollo Tomasi's Twitter, shared by the gentleman, one of you on the panel, and Gilded. So thank you for that. This is just more debauchery. It's very simple. Rollo Tomasi says, alpha fucks, beta bucks. Dr. Jebra Fauché, or Douche, or however you want to pronounce it, grab a notebook and a pen, pull up a seat, and prepare to learn about a nesting partner. Oh, God. Let's listen to this drivel.
Love this question. So, nesting partner is a term used within non-monogamy to...
I hate to be this guy. If you were to guess, what party line do you think she votes for? just curious. What do you think?
She votes blue no matter who.
Okay, blue no matter who. All right, let's continue this.
Reference a partner that you live with. My favorite thing about that, though, is that kind of...
For those of you that don't know why I suggest that, the choice of glasses, the multiple piercings, tattoos everywhere, a haircut that looks terrible no matter who tries to pull it off. Yeah, definitely a poisonous tree frog if I ever saw one.
That I don't subscribe to relationship hierarchies.
Oh, okay.
So my partner, Aaron, is my nesting partner, a partner that I live with. But just because
Let me guess. Is she about to say she's polyamorous? I could be wrong, but let's see where this goes.
I live with Aaron does not mean that Aaron takes priority over my other relationships.
Oh!
So it actually gives
There it
me a
is.
term to use that's not a primary partner or anything.
I can tell you what that term is, but it's probably not what she's going to say. The term is hooer. Okay, say with me. Hooer.
And this poor Aaron guy is being.
Partnerships that I have in my
He takes
he
the
cuffed
pegging.
himself, so I can't
You're
feel
assuming
too bad
Aaron
for
is a male.
Oh yeah.
What?
Well, we want to
Right, we're
assume.
making an assumption.
All right, let's finish this one up.
Fuck is a nesting.
It's a word to cover up I'm a loose slut and I want to sleep with everybody in town. That's what nesting partner means. That's the definition in the dictionary. Look it
But
up. You'll see.
If this Aaron is a guy,
Let's wrap
and
this up
provides
really quick. Stand by.
resources-
Hold.
Okay.
Just
anything
a
like
couple
that,
more
that
seconds.
makes Aaron sound more important than the other partnerships that I have in my life.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
nesting partner is a partner that you live with. Can or cannot be a primary partner, but I love to use it because it does not. Love this question. So,
Okay, we're
nesting
done. We're done. It's done. We're out of here. Panel.
Nesting
You guys.
partner.
All right.
The first thing I say
Somebody
on
being taken advantage of.
the first thing I say on panel all night, and I hear
Yeah, no
nesting
shit.
partner. What the fuck are people turning into animals, or like what the fuck is happening?
Well, you actually are. We're not turning into animals. We always have been animals. However, we're just starting to
Yeah.
now
Bloodhound gang.
openly embrace our animalistic behaviors.
Reverting.
True, very better terminology, Tommy, on that. Now, if we look at it, the previous article that we went over was looking at dating information and the numbers of people using apps and everything. Did you get anybody notice that they used it? They looked at it in January. That's usually the typical slow time for dating because it's the end of the quote unquote cuffing season, which usually starts in fall, which is when people start to nest and settle down with a partner. And then once you break into spring, that's when you get your feral girl summer. If you want to know more about that, go to Red Pill Rhino's channel. He did an entire show about that. He will break all of that down for you.
I did
This is
2
where
episodes on that actually, but yes.
Oh my God! In Seattle, May Day is Feral Girl. It is fucking scary.
Broken Pine makes a really good statement in the chat there.
Next civilization has hit the wall.
Yes,
bring
I would
the
agree.
asteroid.
We reached our peak in the late 80s, early 90s, in my opinion. But that's me. Before all this internet, social media garbage, that was our peak. That was it.
I would say late 90s, early 2000s. I lived through both of those time periods.
I'm going to say this much. When when I was in high school and had an ongoing assignment to keep track of at least one news article or 3 news articles a week, I was noticing back then that things were slowly declining.
Outlaw, by the way, Brandon Trueblood wants you to know that blue snowball microphone sounds great. If you watch Brandon Trueblood shows, you'd understand what he's referring to.
And just looking at the way things are going,
yeah,
I am more and more convinced that if we were to actually do a side-by-side comparison between modern civilization, specifically the Western world, to the Roman Empire, we look very similar to the late Roman Empire.
Yeah.
We do.
Oh, yeah.
How much debauchery are we allowing to go on a day-to-day basis in this country?
Well, yeah, and Mando, to build on that, if you look at it, if you look at all major civilizations throughout recorded human history, everything going back to Göbekli Tepe, going back to ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, all of these major global powers, all these major influential nation states, so to speak, all lasted about 250 to 260 years. Once they hit that threshold, they all started to fall apart within a 10-year span of those. And there's a new power that came to rise up, and pretty much kind of a little dark age or a point of turmoil, and fighting happened. So would any of this occurring around now surprise me? No, not in the least.
Yeah. On that note, I guess we'll just jump into the next topic. This is going to spin some of you out. I've seen it going around social media, especially cat ladies, of course, talking about things like emotional abuse, also known as emotional damage, which we don't have the sound clip for, unfortunately. But in reality, this is really what it is. It's called a man having standards. Shocking. Men aren't allowed to have standards.
They can't do that.
No, that would be wrong. Here is the latest news regarding Jonah Hill. Okay. Jonah Hill denies allegations he assaulted Zoe 101 star Alexa Nichols when she was 16. And Jonah Hill has denied allegations. Goddamn ads. Get out of here. Denied allegations from actor Alexa Nichols that he assaulted her when she was 16. Nicholas, now 31, claimed on Twitter Sunday, July 9th, that Hill had slammed her to a door, shoved his tongue down her throat while outside at a party. Legal representatives for Superbad star 39 described the claim as a complete fabrication. What were you talking about? False allegations? Furthermore, Nicholas is best known for a role in Nickelodeon series Zoe 101. Now, what I want to point out is they're trying to throw this man under the rug right now. This is the current hot take of people that they're trying to destroy. We had Johnny Depp not too long ago. Now we have him. He just had a girl, can't remember her name, if it's of any significance, but she apparently went through a lot of emotional abuse simply because he said, if you're going to be a surfer girl hanging out with a lot of strange men, hanging out with men in general without my approval, like, that's not okay. I'm not doing that. Gentlemen on the panel, I hear somebody trying to jump in here.
No, I agree with that one.
Well, I mean, this is Me Too 2.0. That's all it is. They're trying to turn around and cancel him. She's making these accusations. Has she ever filed any assault or battery police reports about any of this stuff happening? You notice how all of a sudden, it happened when I was, it happened. No, you know what? When they want to start making these accusations, bring evidence, bring proof of it, because anybody can claim anything is occurring.
Yes.
I mean, look at all the people that bagged on Johnny Depp on everything when the whole Amber Turd thing went on, and when all the information came out, look who really was the guilty one doing all this stuff. Unless you can provide evidence of some of the stuff occurring, I'm not going to believe it or trust it. And it's not like there haven't been multiple women, Mattress Girl, that have made accusations about men previously. But I mean, it's not like this is a standard playbook thing. It's going to do the accusations when she was underage. It's going to start to do the blame and shame thing. What's going to now happen is she's going to start to turn people in Hollywood against him. He's not going to be able to get any roles. He's going to go from whatever role he is in Hollywood. They're going to basically shun him from doing any projects or any work. It's going to turn around into a pretty nasty thing for probably the next three years or so.
Yeah,
that's
what I want to show you.
work.
What I want to show you here, just so you can see it for yourself on this live stream, so you don't have to go fucking around finding it. This is, I don't know, Sarah Brady, probably post-wall, angry, lonely, single woman. This is the actual conversation between Jonah and his ex. He says, plain and simple, if you need surfing with men, if we've got background noise, make sure to mute yourself really quick. I'm not sure where it's coming from. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men, to model, to post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, to post sexual pictures, friendships with women who are in unstable places, probably alcoholics or using drugs or sleeping with several men, places from your wild recent past beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful. I am not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I support it. Okay, fair enough, right? And there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you based on the way these actions have hurt our trust. And this woman has to pipe in, see the misuse of the term boundaries? What the fuck did he say wrong here? As a matter of fact, he was like, if you want to do this shit, it's not for me. Be single. Do your own thing. But this is emotional abuse, women. This is fucking pathetic. Fucking modern women.
She's disappointed that she can't give access to his resources and have her wild girl lifestyle because it's not what he wants.
Yeah, now you're absolutely right. And I haven't gotten spun up all night considering the topic we're going over, but this shit, again, really grinds my fucking gears. Sean actually put the nail on the head there. This is just, I don't want any accountability. I want to do whatever the fuck I want, but I want to hold you to a certain standard. And if you don't like it, tough shit. I'll complain, show your text to everybody on the internet and act like I'm a poor victim. No. Ladies, solid advice. First of all, stop posting your personal dirty laundry all over the internet. Most sane men are going to see that and go, nope, stay the fuck away from her. But also, gentlemen, she is recording everything you're doing. She is saving your text. She is saving your phone calls in some cases. Don't use text or phone calls when it comes to conversations like this. And if you do choose to go that route, make sure you are also recording. If you have the ability to, depending on the state you live in, you need to look up local laws. Make sure you're in a one-party consent state. That is important. If not, get the fuck out of there. But make sure you have documentation of everything you've said as well. So it cannot be interpreted or used against you in the future. Quite frankly, if you're in a relationship where you even feel like you need to do that, there's a good chance you shouldn't even be in it. But I'm just giving you advice. If I were in that situation, to record and make sure you have documents of everything said in that relationship, because she's going to use it and she's going to delete the part she makes her look bad and only keep the parts make you look bad. So keep that in mind.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, we've talked about this and we've beaten this horse, to a pulp pretty much. When we talk about how they say men should have their standards and they should be held accountable and they should have these, they should be allowed to have their preferences, as they like to say. They can have their standards. However, the one thing I've never seen any guy do, and I would love to see someone do it, say, okay, let's talk about boundaries and standards. First off, let's define boundaries and standards. Because if she can go out and do all this stuff, then it's okay for her to go out and do all this suggestive stuff to get the attention and validation from other guys, then it's perfectly fine for him to go out and do whatever he chooses to with other women on a comparable level. And I bet you if you asked her that, she would throw a fit.
Yeah, I'm going to add to that.
All that. And that's going to be a double standard right there. And build on that.
right out the gate, this should be something you're doing. And I mean, set these fucking standards. You can show up to a date and be like, hey, look, I just want to let you know right out the gate, I'm not about the games. I'm not about this whole prolonging thing. If this is going to be a foodie call, you can keep moving. This is what I expect. And you can say, hey, look, and you can set your own standards. You can say, look, I'm interested in you, but I'm not going to do the whole game here where you try to prolong sexual activity when we know your past. You don't have to be so blunt and abrupt about it, but you can also bring up things like if you have an Instagram account and most of your pictures, or even maybe 1/3 of your pictures are bikini photos or lingerie photos, you can get up. I'll have this dinner alone. Also, if you have a Snapchat, we're done here. And on and on. You can say that. You can flat out say, look, if you're on Instagram or Snapchat, we're not going any further. If you have a sexual count over 5, we're done here. I'm not going to play these games. So if you want to enjoy a nice dinner with me, that's fine. But just understand, these are my expectations. And if you don't like it, I'd rather eat alone. That's fine. And what's funny is you would think that most women are going to go, oh my God, what a bastard, and get up and leave. No, if you run into the right woman, they might actually be refreshed that you had the fucking balls to actually say what your fucking standards are, and they might actually sit down and have that meal with you. Now, I'm not suggesting you do it as callous and cold as I just suggested here. You can find your own way to phrase it and be polite about it. But I do strongly encourage you to set those standards and do it immediately. Okay, don't wait until you're into the what are we phase and you end up committing and you haven't set any boundaries or expectations. And now she can walk all over you because you didn't do any of the groundwork to begin with. And you end up like Jonah Hill here. Make wise decisions, gentlemen.
That's honestly very similar to one of the areas where I screwed up with my most recent ex-sociopath. When I first let her move into my apartment, and it's one of these things, we had been quasi-dating for probably about a year and a half up to that point. And she had a death in the family. She needed to find somewhere else to move. And I finally was like, okay, fine, I'll let you move in. But I told her straight up, no snakes. Because that was one of her big pets. She loved reptiles for God knows what reason.
Oh, God, she was one of those.
The first time I'm away doing something for the Army for more than 2 days, I get a ping on my Petco account. You just bought a Python ball. Now, bear in mind, my account isn't geared towards a debit card or credit card. It's just one of these things I let her use it so that way we had access to discounts and whatnot. So I called her up thinking, oh, she bought my cat a toy. How nice of her. And she's like, no, I bought a ball python. I'm like, where is it? It's on your kitchen table. No, it's not. I told you no snakes. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, well, that's basically how the conversation went. And for the next 8 months of the relationship, I was constantly throwing that in her face, where every time she would say, I'm not going to do anything you don't ask me to. Like, oh, really? Like the snake?
I'm going to jump in here really quick just to make that point. There should have not been 8 months. She should have been out the door that day.
No, you're right. You're right. I was being the nice guy. I was being the quote-unquote good guy. And by the end of the relationship, what really killed the relationship was she wanted to go and get a bunch of facial piercings, and she wanted to start being identified as a multiple individual. And I was like, no, we're done. You get those piercings, you're admitting this relationship is over. So you make your
she
decision.
can go and do that. She can go and do that. However, once you do that, that is her understanding that relationship is over. And guys, if you're out there, you know what? Yeah, I'm a monk. I live my life my way. I'm not telling everybody that's what they need to do, but that's what works for me. So go do what works for you. However, if you're going to go out there and you're going to use these dating apps and you're going to try and find somebody, I'll tell you right now, more than likely, if you see their Instagram or whatever social media they're using, go and look at it. If greater than 30% of the photos they have on there are of them trying to look suggestive, you know what that means. Not worth your time. That's a low value, low quality female. Move on. Don't even get to the point of even going out to dinner with somebody like that. Go look her up, find her, and if she's like, hey, let's go for dinner, hey, let's go have drinks, hey, but just all you gotta do is say, I'm not feeling it. You're not the type of person I'm looking for. Block, walk away.
I
That's
agree.
the smartest and safest way to do it.
And and truth be told, that last woman is the reason I have this whole thing. That I'll give them one shit test, as Pop puts it, but that's it. And the shit test is going to get turned around on them.
Right.
Because if they play that kind of game and then they try playing it again, they're going to find that my number no longer works for them.
Yeah. On that note, we're gonna shift gears really quick and close out the show this evening. Again, thank you to all of you that are watching up until this point. This topic just gets me spun up, so I'm gonna move on before I get any more irritated. That's really what it is, man.
Does your pussy hurt?
No, Mike. I can just feel blood pressure rising. It's not fucking good.
You got a little sandy vaginitis?
It's not. On that note, let's talk about this fucking ass sniffer in chief.
Oh, God.
Biden nibbles on frightened young girl during trip to Finland, weirding out Twitter users. Let's just see what this weirdo is up to this week.
This was fucked up.
This should be a constant segment on Pop.
It is.
What in the hell are you doing, old man?
Mm-hmm.
Did he
What
just
is
reach in
grandma
for?
doing?
Did he just reach in for a kiss and then she pulled away?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Basically.
Smart woman.
Oh, that was the kid he was aiming at.
Yeah.
So many jokes you can make, but so little time.
Nope. I think we're good.
That's not a joke.
No,
it's pretty fucked up. And we're gonna switch into another gear here really quick. Just want you to see what the totally most popular president ever is up to this week. But on Twitter, we have a former vice president, much like the one we just saw, that is a complete piece of shit. That hopefully his political career is ended. But knowing they love these people in the upper echelon of the deep state, he'll probably be around for a while. But let's see what Mike Pence had to say about his priorities as far as the American people go. Let's take a look here. Mike Pence, you would think, has a lot of fucks to give about the American people. Well,
not really.
Let's see. Right.
Oh my God.
The one
This
thing he's
fucking
not
ass
wrong
clown.
about.
Panel, I'm going to let you guys end this one. Final thoughts, whether it's about this or something else, and then we're going to call it a night.
I'm not going to get spun up. I'll pass.
All right. Anybody else?
No, it's just what's a flavor of lies you want to hear, you know? And it's just like he's like everybody operates on the same team, but pretends to not, and he's just, well, I don't necessarily want to be. I don't like him. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah,
and
I'd
I don't
agree.
like what he says or how he says it.
No.
He acts like he's trying to be helpful and everything, but you just saw where his priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my YouTube comment.
Which one? Why do you think he's never isn't alone with a woman?
Oh no, that was a big and
the
stink
one
during
before
the
it.
Trump administration.
He needs to be put out to pasture. Yeah.
Now,
No,
He
I was thinking
was a-
Mike Pence sucks dicks.
he's still a Republican, correct?
Yes.
Well,
that's what he claims to be.
he's a rhino.
Okay.
No offense
This
to you,
right
Rhino.
here-
Not the good kind.
Right.
This
Different
right
spelling.
there, that right there ought to explain to you the left versus right paradigm. Neither side cares for this country.
They don't
Neither
give a
side.
shit.
No.
Neither side.
Just want to enrich themselves.
Exactly. They both are owned and operated by the same people at the top, campaigned and funded by the same people.
Yep.
That's why Trump is so alluring to people who notice the problems domestically, because Trump has, during his presidency, he really tried to either reform or put government focus on parts that are hurting inside the borders, not focus on outside of the borders, because if we can't take care of ourselves, we cannot take care of the rest of the world. We can't do both. You got to take care of yourself, just like Jordan Peterson's whole clean your room thing. Get yourself in order, because when you get yourself in order, you can take on additional burdens and additional responsibilities. You try to do it before you're ready, you're going to fail at both.
Don't lie and clean your fucking room.
There you go.
My shirt says.
Exactly. Well, looking at history, let's look at a couple of comparisons here. Can anybody name another one-term president that shocked the country but had a lot of the people behind him?
Jimmy Carter.
No, not the direction I was going with that. He was one-term president, right? Who was actually wound up being an accidental president initially, then was elected for one term only.
Johnson?
Nope. The 26th president, Teddy Roosevelt. He was under McKinley because
Polk.
No, because Teddy Roosevelt was the trust buster. He was the guy that went after Julius Pierpont Morgan, Sr. and Jr. He was the one that went to go break up all the big robber barons, all the big major industries that were profiting during the Gilded Age of the United States history. He said he would never run for another. Well, if you look into Teddy Roosevelt, look at what he did as president, as the trust buster, as the guy that went against the big business, the guy that went against the political establishment, the guy that actually broke up a lot of the corruption. Look at Teddy Roosevelt, and look at what Donald Trump did. Both of them served one term, and they were smeared publicly, whether or not the people loved them or not. That's the same thing that's going to happen. I told everybody this in 2015. Trump will get elected in 2016, but he will be a one-term president.
Nate,
that's what's going to happen.
One thing to add to this: look at why Teddy went after the monopolies, though. That one is the kicker. He got red-pilled by a female journalist who was a feminist. And he got tired of all of these fuckers taking up his hunting grounds. And he fucking went after them.
Yeah, he did.
So basically,
and if you look at it,
so he basically did a reverse assault and fuckery.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. And if you look at the history of Teddy Roosevelt, I mean, he came out of office. I believe it was 1909. And if you look at that, what was starting to happen in Europe in 1909, 1910, 1912? There were
up to the First World War.
Now,
well, we were leading into the lead up of it.
Anybody see any correlations between 100 years ago and now?
Absolutely. Different alliances or the realignment of
same story,
national,
different characters.
not national, global factions.
Little bit different
Same story,
situation.
different characters, but it follows very much the same pattern, the same cyclical pattern in society.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cy Jewel says Teddy wanted income taxes. That's not true.
All right. Gentlemen, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this evening. We are just about at the mark, so I don't want to go over on time again. But I want to thank you all for sticking through to the very end. For those of you that have subscribed, much appreciated. Again, check us out on MGTOW and Rumble. And if you feel like supporting the channel and keeping us independent, also keep in mind that you can donate either through Cash App or through PayPal. It's much appreciated, and thank you to all of you that do, including Polska Bob last week donated. So thank you so much. It means a lot. It really does. So, and if you want to support Billy's Beer Fund, go to redpillrhino.com and check out some Bronto Lives Matters. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll see it. Anyway, thank you all again so much for showing up tonight and sticking through to the very end. If you don't mind, if you liked this episode or any of the other episodes we've done, give it a like. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you're still subscribed, because that's been an issue, even with some of our regular panel members. And finally, share this with a friend. Get the word out there. The more people we share this kind of content with, obviously, the better. One of the things is we do cover a bunch of weird shit. We get into the weeds with conspiracy theories and, whatever. Yeah, just have some fun streams where everything is what the hell's going on. But bottom line is I want to help men. I want to get them out of the matrix, and I want to help them, if I can, make better decisions. That's the bottom line. So anyway, if you find my content valuable, share it with some people, especially if you know some guys going through some shit. Invite them to check out the content, and hopefully they find it useful and it benefits them as well. All right. I want to thank you again for showing up, staying through to the end, because I know these are long ones. We're going to start shortening this up coming soon, probably after a break. By the way, there will be a break period somewhere between August and September, I imagine. I can't give you specific dates, but at some point, again, I am going to be moving locations. Internet's going to be shut down, and I won't have access to internet other than the phone, and I'm not streaming on the phone. I'd rather do it at the desktop the correct way. I might do some shorts, but that'll be about it. But again, thank you all for supporting this channel. It wouldn't be here without you. I mean, if I was talking to 0 people right now, there'd be no reason to be here. So much appreciated to all of you that support the show. On that note, we're going to get out of here. We will see you next week. Links have been dropped in MGTOW, Rumble, and YouTube. If you want to join, as always, we do have a brief after party to where everybody can shoot the shit and talk to the guys off air. So if that is something you're interested in, we have limited panel space, but we're happy to have you here. All right. Until next Friday, I will catch you later. Thank you again for watching.
We are the arbiters of this society.
Repeat after me. Cosmic Woods Secretary, we must maintain a neutral carbon footprint. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs. Repeat after me. We must eat the bugs.
This is a world that we create and manage. The people, they need to be controlled. We will give them truths, but only our truths. They are not to seek information anywhere else.
It is my job to keep order. So what you saw didn't happen. Erase everything.
You a grunt? I used to be one, and I was good at it.
I know. Things were simpler then. I have some questions.
You need to understand, we're being hunted.
By who?
Bring him to me.
This breaks the world.
story isn't over yet. There's still a page left.
You're never gonna make it, you're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're dreaming. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you could fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back. You ain't gonna make it, you ain't never ever gonna break it. You can never beat them and they're better than you face it. Thinking that they give a damn, you're not thinking straight, kid. No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds, talking out loud so proud. You better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south. You're never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you could fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Are you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Fucking fight back.